So I'll let you put it in your own words, but just now you said something very funny where I was telling a story about someone I know talking about people in Alabama using the N-word like extremely casually and how it was strange to this girl's ear, even though she kind of expected them to talk that way. Mm. And you made an analogy where you said, I'm like a chameleon.
I'm a chameleon. I could understand referring to that person as an N. I'm not going to do it. It's not me.
Yeah.
But if somebody said, oh, that N, I'd be like, well, I know what you're talking about.
And that makes you a chameleon.
Yeah, no, I'm like a journalist. I embed myself in the story. I know what they're saying.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Like, I get your point, but it is very funny to refer to that as being a chameleon.
Any climate I can go in. I'm adaptable. I'm an omnivore.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. No better way to get into it than that. Speaking of the N-word, you and our other friend Nick both recommended that I watch a movie. I told you guys when we were gaming that I was in a mood where I was like, I want to watch some like really shitty thing that's gonna give me a good, but I'm gonna have a good time watching it. I need like a Prime Disease movie. One of you suggested it, and the other one agreed. Mm-hmm. Caleb, you should watch this movie. It's a disease movie. You'll have a bad time, but you might be able to enjoy it, and it'll be relevant for your podcast.
Yes.
And I said, okay. And man, I had a terrible time.
Yeah.
It was not at all what I was looking for that night. It totally killed my vibe. My brother watched it with me, and it made both of us extremely depressed, and then he went home.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, this is a horror movie about podcasting. Well, not really about podcasting. It's a horror movie in which a lady is a podcaster. Yes. She has a horror podcast called the Undertone Podcast. And it is maybe one of the worst produced podcasts I have ever seen in any form of media. Their schedule and how they do things is awful. They have a weekly podcast. This is something they say. And over the course of the movie, I guess, I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge like the time frame of this movie.
Extremely.
It might be weeks. It might be days. We don't know.
We don't know.
They have a weekly podcast, and the co-host, the male co-host, is like, hey, I've got these haunted recordings. And the recordings are like 12 of them. Uh-huh. And they're all like several minutes each, like 3 minutes. And they get through maybe on the first recording, like 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And then the lady gets freaked out. She has a woman moment and she's like, we need to stop. And her co-host is like, okay, we'll record next week. Yeah. Now, if you've been paying attention to the numbers I've been saying, you'll realize, okay, if the recordings are only like 3 minutes max each and they have a weekly podcast, they've only gotten maybe max 10 minutes of recording. You are not wrong for thinking that. That is exactly what happens. I do not understand how they are getting a show out that is worth listening within this time frame. This is one of those things that we are specifically autistic over because this is our way to make some money.
And for someone who hasn't seen it, like, they're not podcasters like we are, where they say, hey, we're going to take 2 minutes of material and somehow have a 5-hour recording at the end of it. Like, they're not adding any, they're Stuckman-like. Yeah. They play it and they go, yeah, that was weird.
That happened and that's scary.
Next recording. And it's like, they're not adding any content. They're not analyzing. I mean, they're technically analyzing, and that one of them is like, yeah, that was scary. And the other one goes, yeah, it was actually faked. Not that that's even analysis, but like, that's the content. Mm-hmm. They're not joking. It's not a funny thing. It's meant to be informational, but neither of them have anything to say. They have like no chemistry. It's one of the worst like representations of someone trying. Apparently it's like her job, right? It's like she's making money from it, isn't she?
They have enough gravitas in the podcasting world to have like weekly callers in, because they do a live show, which, by the way, if we did a live show, it'd be constant bleeping.
Is it a live show?
Yes, it is.
But they say, like, in the edit, they say, like, oh, yeah, like, they go, oh, I need to get into character, and then we can cut that for the edit.
Let me clarify. So they do some episodes, and then every once in a while, they do a, like, call-in live show.
Okay.
So they have, like, 2 different ones, which is crazy. I mean, Here's the thing. Caleb and I record like once a week, maybe twice. It is a lot of work. The way their work ethic is the worst I have ever seen. There is no way that Caleb and I could do this the way they do it in the movie and have it like be viable.
Maybe if we start trying way less, we'll get huge.
I guess so.
Because we put more work into our show than there are people that are making their living from podcasting that I know how much work they put into it, and it's, nothing.
Yeah.
But they have a name that people Google and they go, oh, Kofefe, I want to see what they say.
Yeah.
So maybe we just need to start doing nothing.
I guess so.
Maybe
try
that's
less.
the key.
Yeah, try less. Basically make it so that you guys get dog shit on Patreon.
Yeah.
Then, oh, man.
We should stop trying to make analogies, comparisons. We should stop explaining what we're talking about. We should stop asking the other person questions that lead to conversation. We should stop doing any prep.
Stop being interesting. Stop leading the discussion in ways that could be like pleasing to your frontal lobe.
It's Stuckman season, bitch.
Yes.
It was interesting. Next. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this movie's terrible. Anyway.
It sucks. It's every trope that you have seen in a horror movie before. Basically, this girl is taking care of her invalid mother. It's not exactly clear what she has, but her mom is basically bedridden.
Yep.
And she does a horror podcast with her co-host who is across the country, which...
Is that what was that?
I think it was. By the way, it is very fucking hard to record a podcast when you're not in the same room. We tried it once, and we hated it.
It was terrible. Talking about Stuckman.
It was. It wasn't great. And she has... It's every trope, like I said. She's in a house, and then they'll have, like, coverage, or just, like, not even really coverage, but just, like, shots of, like, the wall decorations, and it's just a cross, and then, like, Catholic, not martyrs, but, like, saints, stuff of that, where you're just like, whoa, Christianity is...
Imagery in the movie that makes sense.
You're telling me about some stigmata, some shit, man? What the fuck?
This is an A24 movie, by the way.
It is. This did end up making money, too. It was a low budget, but black teenagers snuck into this.
We did talk about this briefly the other night. When you guys asked me, Nick actually said, he's like, Caleb, I guess you guys had already chatted about it. He's like, we both are dying to know, like, your take. And I felt bad not being able to, like, really give you much, because I was basically like, guys, I didn't take away anything. Like, I know that y'all wanted me to have a monkey moment and be like, this is terrible. It's awful, but it was just so like sleep inducing. I mean, Isaac can attest. My energy just went like below the floor right away, and it stayed there. And the movie has like nothing going on, and he was explaining it. I'm like, why is she? And he's like, I think that they said something about an abortion, and this is supposed to be like imagery of the. And I go, yeah, okay, but like, why is the? And then just we're sitting there silence for 10 more minutes, and then I'm like, why the mother again? He's like, I think it's I think the podcast, it's like the real life thing was in the podcast, and I'm like, okay. So he was kind of my translator as I went into a coma during this movie. I really have almost nothing left. I mean, you can go off. I have very little to contribute to this because, I mean, I saw it, but it left my mind like less than 24 hours. Like it was deleting itself while watching it.
Yeah. So like I said, this is every trope in every single horror movie, every single anxiety that has been explored in like this elevated horror sense of horror movie making. There's a part where she's taking care of her mom and she's away. She can't really like go out and do stuff because she has to like give her medicine and like, just kind of be present. And her boyfriend is like out at a party. He's like, yeah, you gonna like, show up? And she's like, I don't know, I gotta take care of my mom. And then she has like morning sickness, and then she takes a pregnancy test, and then she's like, you have Babby. And then she calls him, and he's like, shut up, bitch. And he like hangs up, and she's like, fucking damn it.
Yeah.
What else is like insane? Christian imagery is just, you've seen this 100 times for the past 50 years in horror movies of just like, oh my God.
I remembered something. You mentioned that it made money. Mm-hmm. I remember that the one thing I did take away is that I was like, this has to have been a movie that costs extremely little to make and could be filmed very quickly, because almost every scene is in the house, and it's one of three types of scenes: either her caring for the mom, recording the podcast, or walking around the house while a light is on. Yeah. And they're all like the same camera angles each time. And I'm like, I think they just were like, from this camera angle, you can film scenes 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Like, it's so like visually stale. You get really bored of seeing the same space.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
You're over it.
This is kind of like Skinamarink, where it was shot like in a real house in like Toronto with like Canada dollars and the Canada Media Fund.
The fuck is that?
Skinamarink?
Yeah.
Okay, so Skinamarink was a movie that came out that was like very lo-fi, kind of like, I don't even really want to say elevated horror, but it's basically something that these kids are wandering around a house when their parents are gone, and it was shot for like no money, I think in like Saskatchewan, but it's very lo-fi, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 jump scares where like the sound peaks up really high, and it's one of those movies that like, you know, if this does get like great word of mouth, you will make like a crazy return on your investment.
Yeah.
This has its shooters. I didn't really care for Skinamarink. I thought it was like really fucking boring a lot of the time, and I didn't like it. But this is just like Skinamarink in the sense that it costs nothing to make, and that people saw it, and it's A24 distributing it, so they're like, yeah, we can make some money off this. There's some people might not know what this is, but there's like a creepypasta element that was so fucking funny. So creepypastas, for people who don't know, is a play on like copy and paste. There was something back in the day, like, have you ever seen that like Navy SEAL copypasta where it's like, what the fuck did you say about me, you little bitch? I graduated top of my class. And
yeah, I know what creepypasta
Okay, I want to explain this for the audience. So like a copypasta is something that people can copy and paste, and that it's just a meme that everybody knows.
The Timothy Chalamet, he said, what? Stole a candy bar in
yeah, it's just like, I don't want to like, you know, disturb you. Oh, like what you're doing
right now.
And they've done that to Christian Bale and like other people before him. That's a copypasta, people copy and paste. A creepypasta is like a scary story like Jeff the Killer or like Ben Drowned or Slender Man that people just like copy and paste. Like, isn't this scary?
Monsters
like,
Inc.
Monsters Inc.
That's a throwback to Timely Discussion 2 or 3.
Oh, really?
When we talked about the Miasma Trans Bitch first movie.
Oh, I saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
okay.
And I said Monsters, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Blue hair.
Wow, what a pull.
Blue fur.
Yeah, so creepypasta is like that, where it's like an internet story that is shared maybe like an email chain, like how you used to get screamers sent back in the 2000s. Yeah. Anyway, there's one that they talk about in the beginning of the movie where it's just like, yeah, so she had like a fucking scary red face and it would turn into like a smile. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this bullshit? At the end of the movie, I'm not even going to really spoil this part, but it just comes into play. And you're like, oh, that mattered? The thing they mentioned at the beginning and never?
She's in the podcast is the show, is the real life, is the podcast undertone.
Yes, one of those things where I looked at it and I said, okay, so because the filmmaking is so poor, I don't understand if you're drawing attention to it because it's a callback or because it actually matters.
I have no idea, and I can't even make a theory because the movie gives you nothing to theorize about.
I even looked on Wikipedia at the end, and the way it was written at the time was the creepypasta from before returns. And I said, oh, it returns? It's not actually the plot? And so that thing kind of pissed me off because that shows that most people are just like, I don't even know what this means.
And returns from what? Like, yeah, like it's a meaningless statement.
Exactly. And I mean, the plot of the entire movie really is that they have these haunted recordings of somebody. It's like a nighttime recordings. Like if you ever have the sleep app that records when you talk. There's like a lady, and they do this thing that has been a fucking like just homestay in every single creepypasta that I fucking hate. Every single analog horror where it's like, they say something and it goes, what is that? Where? And you're like, what is that? And then they play it backwards and it's just like, I am the devil and I will kill you. And it's like, no. So this
does that say Paul is dead? Like the beat, or no, Mike is dead?
So you are right. There was a Beatles one that said like Paul is dead or something like that. Famously, and this was turned into something that actually gets a little too real that I won't talk about too much, but Sad Satan was a thing that people heard in Stairway to Heaven, where if you played it back, that one part where it goes, and there are 2 paths you can take now. If you play that backwards, apparently, allegedly, you can see it on YouTube, it sounds like he tortured us in our like shed, Sad Satan or something like that. And definitely when you were like in the 70s and you could just play your record player backwards and you had fuck else to do. So they start playing things backward, and it's just like, I'm the evil demon, I'm the evil demon. They're like, oh my god. So they do some research, and some most like cursory Wikipedia bullshit where they're just like, hey, there's this demon named Abazu. And I only remember this because I looked it up yesterday. They say there's this demon named Abazu who is real in like the, what do they call it? Like the... It's
just like Shelby Oaks.
Yeah.
She finds the demon book about the demon.
Abazu was a demon who was cataloged and something like that, where it's like, hey... that demon never could have a child, so she is like the demon that causes you to miscarry and also makes you crazy enough to kill your own kid, which is probably, if we're thinking about it, honestly, back in the day, just postpartum depression.
Yeah.
So Yeah, they find out that the demon is the evil demon compared to the other demons or whatever. And
he's the evil one.
And they find out, they're just like, oh my god, I had a tumultuous relationship with my mom and now I'm taking care of her, and oh my god, I have a baby and I might miscarry, and oh my god, and it just lines up way too perfectly. And at the end, they're just like, wait, the demon, who sent the email? It's from like a proton mail, we can't even trace it, and it's from like demon@aol.com or whatever. And then finds out that the demon sent it in a way that's like, hey, I will send this and it will cause like a cycle of me being able to like be an evil demon again.
You have to invite, in the lore, demons can only possess if you allow them in. So you have to either ask for them to come in or open an email from demon@protonmail.me.
Yes, it's fucking the most like contrived bullshit where it's like, this feels like it should have come out 20 years ago.
Or 1 year ago, because this has a lot of the same plot elements as Shelby Oaks, including the actual, like the very end also.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because...
If you think about how they both literally end. Like the final...
I won't even give a spoiler warning. Fuck off. I mean, like, because the ending basically, she's like, oh, the evil demon is scary, and then she comes upstairs to her mom, and her mom is like fucking like T-posed flying around, and the mom like lunges at her and goes, ah! And then the credits roll and it says Undertone.
Yeah. Me, him, her.
Me, him. Demon, Babby, mom.
More like underwritten.
Yeah, actually though, no, this is extremely lazy. This is the director's Ian Tewison, I believe. I don't know how I remember that, but this is his first effort. And this was a thing when I looked on Wikipedia, because I'm not going to do more research on this. Fuck off. Fuck you. Basically, it was the thing of like, I wrote this because I was dealing with like my mom and she had dementia, and also I was raised Catholic, and
I listened to a podcast and I thought, what if these things were all the same thing?
And I read a creepypasta, I read Jeff the Killer, and I went, and it's scary, and it is, because here's the thing, it's like, when you try to write your first script or think about the ideas, everything is going to be like extremely contrived and also just reminiscent of things that you like. Yeah. It's going to be extremely derivative. Instead of refining that and working on it for a long time, he said, I will take that first draft and run with it.
And then A24 said, okay.
I don't know why they distributed this, honestly. I mean...
They're destroying their brand. Every year it gets weaker and weaker.
I mean, it makes sense economically because this made money off of what it cost to produce and probably get the rights to. So it was a good economical decision, but this is also just ruining their brand of like high elevated horror. Because like we talked about the It Comes at Night, how like a lot of people didn't see that, but that does seem very A24, I will admit. This seems very Blumhouse.
I was just about to bring up, this is like the third time tonight while we're recording where you take the words right out of my mouth. Because it's like, yeah, A24, you're going to turn yourselves into Blumhouse, and that's not a good thing to be. Mm-hmm. And it's short-term thinking, not that their motive is like, we're going to make crap that makes a lot of money because it costs nothing. It's not like there's anyone at A24 just saying this. Obviously, like the people who curate what they decide to finance care about the brand because it is a brand worth caring about and preserving. But A24, like the jokes about A24 were deserved because in their, not infancy, but in the early years of them being like a major distributor of quality motion pictures, they would have those great films and they would have those great but lesser known films. And then like a third of their output every year, you know, if you looked at what they put out like 8 to 10 movies. 2 or 3 of them, you'd go like, why is this is a horror movie that takes place at a pop concert starring Nicole Kidman and like the Jonas Brothers. And you're like, that's an A24 movie?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
And it seems like now they're making more of the what the hell movies than anything else. And the what the hell movies are more often than not only just what the hell premises, but they're also just, it seems like they're done with no effort. Not that the company A24 is making it, they're just, you know, bankrolling it, but it's like, this is such an obvious, it's not worth the short term of like, we can put it in theaters and it'll make money. It's not worth the damage you're doing to your brand, you know?
It seems extremely detrimental for short-term gain.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like you said, back in the day when they were showing things like Bling Ring or Spring Breakers, like, you know, regardless of however well they performed, even though Spring Breakers made money, you could be like, well, okay, I'm kind of getting like a tone here, or like stuff like, once I got into horror, like, you know, The Witch and like Robert
Enemy.
Yeah.
It all fits a brand.
Yeah, where you're just like, okay, this might not be something that like a regular studio would greenlight, but like artistic people who are like directors or producers who say like, hey, this is good, but maybe the audience, well, we can cultivate this brand and this audience of this is a little bit elevated beyond what you usually see. And then they're just like, hey, what if the recording was scary? What if there was a daemon in your computer?
Yeah, it's just crap. The movie, is absolute crap, and it's the worst A24 movie I think that I've seen. Haven't seen all of them because, like I said, they've been in business since 2013, and they put out at least 3 or 4 what the hell is that movies a year. But I hated this more than Slice, and I hate Slice.
Oh wow,
Slice is awful.
Ooh. I looked up the synopsis of Slice after our last episode when we talked about Pizza Movie, and God, that seems like a fucking pile of shit.
It is.
Wow. Yeah, this is in definite contention for like bottom 5. Right now, I believe this is like a 3.0 or maybe 2.9 on Letterboxd, which is... Ooh. I mean, once you hit 3, like below 3 is definitely just like, what the fuck? But once you hit like actually 3, that's when people start to go, like that. Like,
is it worse than Melania? Sorry, go ahead.
No, this isn't worse than Melania. Melania sucks because it's just blatant propaganda. Yeah. There were parts of undertone that I thought were okay. Like, for example, the entire thing of like her sitting in the dark and like listening to something scary and then looking over her shoulder, that is kind of eerie. You know, that is at least
in concept.
That is horror filmmaking at least. Like I can be like, well, that is one thing we have where it's like you're watching something scary like in your room at night and you kind of are just like, is like a scary spider here? It's like that's a real thing. Melania, on the other hand, is just blatantly...
I thought it was very scary.
It's scary in the sense of I cannot believe that this is making some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that you watched another horror movie called Mammy.
It's
Black
not
Mammy
just...
too?
It's just not Mammy's House. It's Lee Cronin's The Mummy. And a lot of you people might be listening saying, who the fuck is Lee Cronin?
Yeah. And what has he done with Brendan Fraser?
Let me lay it on you, Playboy. Lee Cronin is the guy who did the most recent Evil Dead movie. Now, Sam Raimi has stopped directing these since Army of Darkness, and he has given it to Fede Alvarez, who did the 2013 one, and did that new Alien movie that people said was fine. And he said, hey, Lee Cronin, do you want to be bonin'? Make Evil Dead Rise, which I saw and thought was okay. He did Evil Dead Rise. I guess it made some money and got him some gravitas, whatever. They said, do you want to do The Mummy? Now, for people listening, this is not like in the vein of Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. It is the same IP, and this is where it gets confusing, because Brendan Fraser's The Mummy and this Mummy are all based on like the universal monster, like, you know, walking in toilet paper mummy. Yeah. They're not really related in any sense besides that there's an evil mummy.
Okay.
In the 40s, it was just a guy walking at you. In Brendan Fraser's one, it was like, hey, it's like World War I, like kind of after or something, and we're in Egypt and we got to find the fucking, to get money, you know? It's about that. This one, on the other hand, is there is a family and the dad is like a newscaster for like a CNN type, and he's like a dude who lives in Egypt and he's like, oh, I talk about the Middle East or whatever. Early on in the movie, there's like this family who's unrelated to the one that I'm about to talk about. And they're on a road trip, and there's a lady who's like, oh, I'm like very serious, and my husband's not. And they end up at this house, and like a fucking like butterfly or something gets injured, and she's like, okay, I know how to heal it. I'm gonna take it downstairs to the mummy. Now, if this sounds fucking stupid, this is what happens in the movie.
They got a mummy in the basement freezer?
This is what Egypt is like. So they go downstairs and there's a mummy sitting in a sarcophagus, and the kid is like, I want to resurrect this like bug or like animal rat that died or something. And the mom's like, okay, mummy powers. They take it to that, and the mummy gets out and is like, oh, and they like the sand starts swirling about and it's evil mummy powers. Yeah. And then like the kid gets haunted by mummies. So I'm not even drunk, actually. So the basically they have an evil mummy sitting downstairs, and she gets like possessed by mummy powers, and the good family that's living in Egypt that is like from fucking like Iowa or something, their kid is enrolled in normal school in Cairo, and this is hard to explain. How do I fucking explain this?
Mummy.
The mommy becomes a mummy and says, hey, I got you, like, you know, she kind of like entices this good girl of just like, hey, come over here. My daughter, who you usually play with, is gone. I can give you like candy and shit. And she's like, fucking okay, I'm a kid. I love candy. Turns her into a mummy, puts her in their sarcophagus. And then the parents call the police and like, hey, my fucking kid is gone. And like, hey, I think you like killed her. And they're just like, what are you talking about? You're Egyptian. I don't like you. And
other Egyptians are saying this to her?
Yeah. And the police investigate, and there's a woman police officer, which is very funny in an Arab country. And she's like, actually, I kind of believe you didn't kill your kid. And then the evil Arab police officer is like, I'm a man, so therefore I'm bad. So years go by, and they say, our daughter's missing. We don't know what went on, but we have to live our life normal. Something happens where the sarcophagus gets like put in a plane by these like traffickers, because this is a real thing, I guess, where like Egyptians, it's really easy for them to like traffic like sarcophagi and shit like that, because they just have them sitting everywhere. It's like in every cafe. And daughter mummy is in the plane. Somehow she like breaks loose and crashes the plane with her mummy powers, because like all the mummies can like summon locusts and shit. It's like biblical shit, you know?
This sounds a lot like the Tom Cruise mummy.
It does. It kind of does, which
was, you know,
it's
terrible.
It's kind of like that. And then so she crashes mummy plane, and they're just like, fuck, that was scary. She causes like a big sandstorm and everything, and the dad was like, what the fuck? Through some bullshit, police somehow like find her body, and they're just like, hey, American family, your daughter is back. And they're like, what the fuck? We thought she got like abducted and like, you know, murdered or something, because they're just like, they don't know mummies are real. They say, okay, your daughter's in the hospital. We're going to transfer her to like a hospital in like fucking New York, whatever the fuck. And she's there, and she's like kind of like an Evil Dead deadite, where she's just like has black fingernails, and she's like catatonic, and she's like, and they're just like, oh, our daughter's finally back. The dad is like, what the fuck is up with my daughter? And the mom is like, oh, it's good to have her back, but she's obviously evil.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the movie, she becomes more and more evil and starts doing mummy magic. And it basically is an Evil Dead movie, because there are scenes where she's just like picking her like fingernails off, or just like throwing up, and it's like a fucking Conjuring movie. It's not that I expected a Brendan Fraser, like Rachel Weisz, like mummy adventure where they're just like raiding a tomb, which I would have preferred, because that movie is actually pretty good. This is more just like, hey, the mummy is evil, and you have to deal with her going like, your mother sucks cocks in hell, bitch. Like, that basically is what she becomes.
Fifth time tonight now, because I was about to say, this sounds like the plot of The Exorcist.
Exactly.
Like slow possession, but mummy.
Yes, and that's exactly what happens. This is basically a thing that happens in horror movies now, where they see all these crazy omens and they never act on them. They get her back to the house, and when they leave, by the way, they live in Albuquerque. And they leave their house, which is like gated for some reason. And as soon as they exit, there are just like fucking wolves growling at them in the daytime. And the dad is like, oh, that's interesting about that, and doesn't think about it. And you're like, well, no, that's actually insanely evil.
He sees the wolves and he goes, don't worry, it's all good, mummy.
It's all good, mummy. Yeah, no, I mean, they might as well be fucking having non sequitur like Family Guy bullshit. Remember the time you were the mummy? There's no... They ignore every single like harbinger of evil in this movie, which is so fucking annoying. At a certain point, they have their family over of just like, hey, daughter, homecoming. Because, by the way, it's been like 9 years since she disappeared.
What?
Yeah.
This isn't like a all in a week movie?
It's not next week. They have another daughter, because the mom was pregnant with Babby, and then she had a daughter who was born. And they're just like, this is your sister. She's back. And she's like, ah.
So there's an ensemble level time jump.
Yes. Yes, she sees
but also mummy.
She sees a tattoo in the mummy's leg, and she goes, you were the mummy that... yeah. No, so daughter comes home and just does evil shit. She like throws up into stuff, and she's throwing up locusts, and she's just like, yeah, when the fuck I be a mummy like me? And they're like, no. You guys shouldn't see this. It basically is just like a gross out horror movie. There's no craft to it, really. Like when you think about like Evil Dead and stuff like that, you watch it because there's evil bullshit going on, and you're just like, oh, I get to see like cool gore, which there is a lot of blood and stuff that happens in it, to their credit. Oh, one thing I just remembered. This will drive you crazy. So we talked about in the De Palma disease movie episode how he has a love for split diopters.
Yeah.
Basically splitting the frame down the middle of having two things in focus that are in the foreground, background, basically. Yeah. It can be more specific than that. But this movie does that every minute. And I'm not being hyperbolic.
Wow.
Every single minute you have the dad in the foreground and then mummy daughter in the background being like, "Da-na-na-na-na." And he's just like, oh, it's scary, it's a mummy. And now if you did that like once every like 20 minutes or something in a scene that actually mattered, like for example, in Dress to Kill, a good De Palma movie, where you have the kid listening to something and then you have the people talking in the background, where like it makes sense to pay attention to those two things at the same time.
Yeah.
In this one, it's just like, oh, person standing there and then person standing here and nothing being said. And it's like, you're not gaining any information from that. This is the Mummy for like the last 60 minutes of it. There are 60 fucking split diopter shots, and I'm not kidding.
So Lee Daniels, so this is just like lens masturbation.
Yeah.
It's like, I use the weird lens. I'm Lee Daniels. And also the Mummy.
I'm Lee Cronin, the Mummy.
Oh yeah, Lee Cronin.
Not
Sorry.
The Daniels from Every Mummy, All At Mummy.
No, those are Asian.
Lee Daniels, the Mummy.
Yeah, Lee Daniels, the butler.
Yeah. I was a mummy for every president.
Oh, he was a manny.
Yeah, he really was.
He was a manny.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I'll talk about the ending because it's really fucking funny. So skip ahead one Mummy if you don't hear about the Mummy. So at the end, they realize, hey, we can end the mummy curse by putting the mummy spirit into another person. The cop from beforehand, the woman, gets like fucking stabbed in the throat like a tracheotomy, which is kind of cool. And I like that there's stakes. So she relays this Egyptian knowledge to them about how mummies work because she just knows how it works. And the dad takes the mummy spirit and then they put him into a sarcophagus and they save him. And then they go back, the daughter's okay, even though she ripped all her fingernails out. And they take dad mummy back to Egypt to the evil lady who put their daughter into the mummy in the first place. And they turn her back into the mummy because the dad can control his mummy powers enough to like spit the locust into her mouth. And then she becomes a mummy and she's like, my own petard, And then they put her in their sarcophagus and they like fucking duct tape it shut so she can't get out and become evil mummy.
Duct tape it shut.
Yeah, the strongest substance. And that is how it ends. And it's really funny to have this fucking like kind of Avengers type ending where they make everything right. There's like, it's like, by the way,
what?
you are inflicted with this evil fucking like Egyptian curse that has been around.
Yeah.
Since the Jews were slaves building the pyramids.
Avengers Age of Mummy.
It basically is it's Mummy Avengers.
Whoa.
And it's extremely stupid. I guess if you like gore, you'll like this, but I don't know who this is for. They basically said, hey, Evil Dead guy, can you make Evil Dead but Mummy? And he said, I can for sure do that, but it is extremely laughably bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds dreadful.
Yeah.
So 2 horror misses right off the bat.
Yeah.
Damn. I will not be watching that.
No,
or even clips of it. Or thinking about it again.
I mean, I guess some of the effects are cool. I mean, it looks like it costs money to make those effects.
Speaking of look like it costs money, I watched Nuremberg.
Welcome to Nuremberg.
Welcome to Nuremberg. One of the better trailers of 2025. My cousin saw this movie. I have a few family members who saw this movie. And they were like, oh yeah, Nuremberg. Yeah. And I think my cousin recommended it, or at least said, oh yeah, it was good enough. I don't know. And I was like, oh really? Because the trailer looks like it's going to be bad. And then I looked at some online reviews and it has like kind of middling, I think it's technically like positive. Like I think it's a red tomato on RT. But I said, okay, maybe. And Nuremberg. It's extremely dull to me to watch a real life story that doesn't really have any kind of like point of view. And that's what this is. I think when people say made for TV, sometimes they just mean something cheap. But to me, made for TV is like, it's just kind of trying to be, it's not really attempting to be anything. The movie is technically told from multiple points of view. I say technically because it's mostly Rami Malek's character of this therapist prepping for this trial. And his job in the prep for the Nuremberg trial is to like get dirt on Goering, played by Russell Crowe. And it's like, well, he's Nazi high command. I don't know if you need to trick him. You could just shoot him.
Why would he tell you?
Yeah. I don't know. And if this all really happened, the movie didn't really do a great job making me believe that they would even think to do this. It's just like, you have a mission to meet Goering. And Rami Malek's like, my God, I'm going to do it. I think his acting in most things is pretty bad. And this is true of this too. I think Russell Crowe is miscast as Goring. He does a fine job for being Russell Crowe playing Hermann Goring, but it's so fucking distracting looking at this fat man who's just like, What's that road rage movie he did?
Oh, is it called Unhinged? Oh, I actually watched it. By the way, the movie you're talking about, I watched it and it's actually okay. It's kind of a watch with your dad movie, and I'm not kidding.
I recall seeing the trailer for that and going, when did he get this fat?
Yeah.
And he's still that fat, but that means he can play Goring.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of most of what it is. But then also it's like sometimes about Michael Shannon, who is organizing the trial, and he's like, we need to put Goring on the stand and show the world the Nazis are bad. And it's like, yeah, the world kind of knows that.
We're about to make a judgment at Nuremberg.
So these are examples of things where as I'm watching it, I'm going, I don't think the people involved in this trial were walking around thinking that the weight of the world rested on whether or not people were going to see Hermann Goring as a bad guy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it plays. And, you know, it has good moments. It looks like they spend a lot of money on it, but it's ultimately less than the sum of its parts. And there's almost nothing in the movie that is like unique or original to the movie. Every scene is like, oh, this is the scene in the movie where the two guys talk late at night and have a cigarette and they realize that, you know, we're not so different, you and I. We're just born it. And it's like, I know. There's one good scene where Russell Crowe talks about the first time he saw Hitler, and he's explaining, I guess, the draw of National Socialism. And that was a credible moment, it felt like. And there's a good moment near the end during the trial where Hermann Goring is prepared to have like sassy comebacks. And I forgot I was watching Russell Crowe for like a minute. And there's also a terrible scene in the middle of the movie where this fucking kid who's like the assistant to Rami Malek, who's like, oh, gee willikers, I'm new to... He's like, actually, I'm not Aryan. I'm actually a Jew, and I was born in Germany, and we fled, and I have a personal stake in making sure that Goring goes under the jail. And Rami Malek's like, that's interesting. Keep telling me your backstory. And they just sit on a bench, and he talks for like 10 minutes. And he does like fake bad movie crying that's not believable. And that was torture. And then at the end of the movie, Rami Malek, it does a ensemble to like the 50s, and his character is being interviewed on the radio, and he's like, I wrote this book called How Fascism Took Over Germany and how it could happen again someday to some country that's susceptible to this kind of thing if X was ever allowed free speech. And they're like, what did you just say? And he's like, I'm an alcoholic. And then he gets like kicked out of the show, and he's walking down a hallway and he spills his whiskey. And then there's a postscript that's like, he really did write that book, and he really did predict the rise of anti-Semitism in America, directed by, do you know who?
Chaim Levine. No, who did this?
Can you explain for the people who Chaim Levine is?
Chaim Levine is Chuck Lorre's birth name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it says, yes, you know, anti-Semitism and, you know, don't criticize the chosen people, directed by James Vanderbilt. I said, okay.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Welcome to Nuremberg.
By the way, the Roger Sterling from Mad Men says that in the trailer, and it was the funniest fucking thing.
His character is just so ridiculous.
Yeah,
that scene where the Welcome to Nuremberg part happens. It's like Shawshank, where they're all getting checked in the prison. Like, your cell is this wide by this tall. You have no access to blah blah. And they're showing like them taking the springs out of the mattress so they can't, you know, hurt themselves. And he's just like, and when you were in my prison in Nuremberg, and he looks right in the camera. Terrible performance by him, I thought. But like I said, the movie, it's fine, but it's unremarkable. And it sucks. We talked about Melania and how the book might come up before the doc, you know? It's really sad now that this exists, because now this will be the result probably before the good Nuremberg film, Judgment at Nuremberg, from 1961. Fantastic flick. I would highly recommend that everyone should see it.
Calling it a flick is really funny.
Why? These movies are called.
It's just very flippant for like one of the worst things that happened in Europe.
It's one of the best things that happened in Europe.
The Judgment was good.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying the events of the movie are very positive.
Yeah, we're on the same page. You know what this movie actually should have been? This should have been, instead of Rami Malek, it should have been Al Pacino, and it should have been like a reunion of The Insider, where they're just playing the same characters, and he's like, I would like to know what you did to the Jews. That would have been actually way better.
That'd be pretty
Guys, hire me in Hollywood, and I will make all the good movies.
Modern fat Al Pacino. Fatter than Crow.
And you're saying to me that you did what with him?
It's pretty good.
Caleb, a lot of people thought that Scary Movie 6 was going to be the only parody movie that came out this year.
I was one of them. I said they'd never make another one.
One and done. Wrong. Fackham Hall.
What the fuck is that?
And you guys fucking heard me right. Fackham Hall is a parody of the Downton Abbey, Gosford Park type of like British high society and like, you know, the servants and everything like that.
Upstairs, downstairs.
Exactly. This is unique. I will give it that parody of that kind of movie, TV show that people like to watch. However, it is poorly manufactured. It is kind of baffling at how terribly this was produced. I don't have anything against them making a parody of Downton Abbey and stuff like that. Like how Scary Movie, the first one, was like, oh, isn't it kind of crazy that, like, you know, Scream wants to be this thing that's tongue-in-cheek, but it takes itself seriously in these aspects.
Spoilers.
Scary Movie 1 has a right to exist, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other ones, I don't know. 3's okay. But Fackham Hall... How do I explain this? So the Zucker brothers, who made Airplane and Top Secret and other good parody movies, they had this belief that, for example, when you have a scene where there is a visual gag in the background, like two characters are talking in the foreground and they have like a guy who's trying to eat like a comically large donut or something like that. The focus should be on the gag in the background because that is what is funny in the scene. You should not have the characters in the foreground saying anything serious related to the plot because you're obviously not focusing on that. Mm-hmm. And if you are focusing on them, it is taking away from the enjoyment. They realize that you can focus on one thing at a time. Fackham Hall says, okay, what if we did a visual gag, but we also didn't frame it correctly so your eye isn't drawn to what's happening. And then we also had like an audible gag of two characters being like, all right, and being like gay or something. And then we had like a guy like farting or something. And this is done 100 times in the movie.
Fact that. It's baffling the amount of talent in the movie. People who have actually done shit before. For some reason, like Draco Malfoy's in this. And I know his career has gone down the shitter. I guess.
He was in that Planet of the Apes movie with James Franco.
Oh, yeah.
He's on, I think he's doing The Cursed Child, like the stage play. That's like the Harry Potter book. That or something. His career is not anywhere close to any of the
He's in Fackham Hall.
He's in fucking Fackham Hall. And Jimmy Carr is in this, who's a British comedian who I knew beforehand, who has gotten kind of famous in the past year or two, being on like Kill Tony and doing shows in America, which is very funny to me, having known him for like a decade prior. And then everybody's like, oh, Kill Tony guy. And it's like, well, that's his worst shit, actually.
It's anyone's worst moment. It's on Kill Tony.
Yeah, very bizarre. But as a parody, this just doesn't work. The joke writing, the gags, visual, audible, just don't land. Most of it is extremely unfunny. I didn't expect this to be highbrow, but I thought for people that would find a parody of Downton Abbey or stuff like that funny, it needs to be above like in Scary Movie, they're making fun of like the WhatsApp and everything.
Yeah.
This is probably meant to be watched by your aunt that has a good sense of humor, but likes Jane Austen and things like that. I don't know who this is for because it's not for anybody. The people that like Scary Movie are going to be like, what the fuck am I watching right now? This shit is boring and it's about gay British shit.
Yeah.
The people that are willing to poke fun at Downton Abbey and stuff of that ilk are going to be like, well, this is extremely juvenile and it doesn't make sense that you're parodying these aspects of it. The most obvious jokes they do is like, hey, these people are like high society and they're British. Oh, a marriage is happening. Who are going to be the bride and the groom? They're going to be cousins. That is like the big joke. They're like, whoa, it's inbreeding. Isn't that funny? They marry within the family, just like, you know, fucking Queen Elizabeth. But I mean, it's the most obvious thing. Every single joke in this is the first thing you think of.
Damn.
I can't say too much more about it. I mean, the jokes don't land. The writing is terrible. I didn't care for the cast. This isn't for anybody. Nobody should watch this. I know some people have seen this and have been like, yeah, this is okay. Like people that I know personally. I feel like those people need to be a lot more strict in the movies they like.
Why is it called Fackham Hall?
It's like Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
It's just like that, but it's a play on Fuck 'em all.
But that's... Okay.
That is it.
All right.
That's it. And it's the Fackham family.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you were thinking, right, oh, is there like, you know, something beyond that? No.
I just assumed it must be like, I don't know. Like maybe there's some reference to some, I don't know.
You assumed it would be intelligent critique?
Just that it would maybe have more than one meaning or, I didn't have any kind of assumption of what it meant. I was just like, what is this?
Well, one would assume and should assume that it would actually be like an intelligent, play on something of some kind or just like a genre, but no.
I watched The Sound of Metal. Have you seen this film?
No, it's got Riz Ahmed in it.
He rizzed him up.
Rizzed him up.
Yeah, the Nightcrawler assistant. That's how I met him.
Nightman's in it. That's
and
cool.
Also Star Wars. He was Rogue One. Yeah, Riz Ahmed is in The Sound of Metal, which also stars Paul Raci, who was in one of my more liked films of 2024. What was the fucking movie called that I loved in 2024 with the jail?
Sing Sing?
Yeah.
How did I guess that? That's crazy.
My favorite. Paul Raci, who's in that, he's in this too. And these two guys are great actors. And it's a good movie that does one thing that pisses me off.
Has brown people in it.
Yeah. It has brown people and there's no child sex. But it also does another thing that pissed me off, which is that I complained about this with Honora, a lot of scenes where it's like jump cut, somebody working out, jump cut, making a smoothie, jump cut on the road, jump cut back. And there's a lot of just, instead of writing a scene where you learn things, I'm just going to do montages the whole movie. It's a lot of that, but most people aren't even going to give a shit about that. So it won't be a turnoff for you. A guy goes deaf. He plays metal and then he goes, and then it's also, this title doesn't make sense because it's like, he can't hear his own music anymore, but he's a drummer, and then tinnitus, and then deaf, and then learns deaf hand talk.
ASL?
No. Deaf hand talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got that confused.
He learns DHT, not ASL. You fucking Mongol. And then it goes in a place you don't quite expect. That was cool. Good movie. With some fantastic acting, and I'm happy I saw it. And it made me a little curious to try to learn DHT. But then that moment passed after a few days, and I was like, man, I can hear. Isn't that awesome?
Once you see the alphabet and like all the fucking like gang signs you have to throw up to spell your name, you're just like, these people should fuck your stupid language.
On this format, we really fuck your stupid. In this format, we can really make fun of deafs more than anything, because if there's one person who's not going to consume our content. And
how would the deaf people know that we're making fun? If like a person, like one of their friends were like, you won't believe what they said with their fucking hands, they'd be like, well, I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. If they
read a transcript, it's like, you don't know that's us. And there's no video, so that's they can't see us saying it.
If you are a deaf person reading the transcript right now, fuck you deaf piece of shit. Yourself now. You should.
I want to leave all that in because that's so hilarious. That's really funny. You should. The Sound of Metal. One thumb up and the other thumb is like not quite halfway, but it's not quite all the way up. It's like, it's not a must see. If you ever feel curious to watch it, you or anyone listening, you'll probably enjoy it. And you might have some empathy for deaf people that you're not going to get from most other things that show deaf people, because the movie does put you in the perspective of the deaf character. And I would say the best thing besides those two performances I mentioned is the sound work. It is, I'm not deaf, so I don't know. And I've never had those like listening implants either, so I don't know that. But all of the depictions of all that stuff, it felt like you just sit there and you go, wow, if that was my life, that would be a fucking struggle to adjust to.
Okay, it felt authentic.
So there's a cool subjective experience of like just going deaf that you're not going to, I don't think, get anywhere. I don't know of anything else that does that. I'm sure there's like museums or places you can go where you put on headphones that are like, this is going to simulate,
Where you just don't hear it, so just earplugs.
Well, no, because it's like, how blind people don't just only see blackness. They can see like shadows and shapes sometimes. You can be legally blind. Yeah. And deafness, like as portrayed in the movie, like it's not like he hears zero sound. It's just that he can be right in front of someone who's shouting and it's like...
Charlie Brown's parents, yeah.
like the vaguest. So, and obviously you feel vibrations. So there is sound in the movie when you're in his POV. And that was done well. So that's cool. So it has that little neat aspect to it, but it's, like I said, it's not a must watch. So
fellow incels, women haters, our guy is back. Ryan Gosling, our king, is back in Project Hail Mary. And I have to say, it's good. Nice. I didn't love it, of course, but technically, I think this is definitely going to win the Oscar for like visual effects.
Oh yeah,
because there's no Avatar movie this year, so an actual real movie that is deserving of praise.
So the field is wide open.
It's wide open to people who actually deserve it instead of just blue. So that's cool. This immediately released to crazy acclaim on Letterboxd. Not that people really care about that, but Letterboxd does have this thing that's like the top 500 narrative features. And when this released, it was like top 200.
Wow.
And it definitely has dropped a little bit. Obsession was the same, where that is also in the top 500 right now.
That's nutty.
That is pretty cool, though, for a horror movie. But yeah, I would say nutty. I feel like Project Hail Mary overall is a fine movie by every metric. If you like science fiction, if you like action, if you like drama, if you like comedy, it's what you would call like a 4 quadrants thing of just like anybody can like this, regardless of where you come from or things you like. If you paid money for this and saw this in a theater, you'd be like, yeah, didn't waste my time. However, this is what I've heard. I have not read the book yet, but I have it. Apparently, this is kind of a mediocre adaptation. So this is a book by Andy Weir, who also wrote The Martian.
Yeah.
And The Martian is a movie I saw and really liked. And a lot of people who have read the book like that movie too and say, oh, they show the signs in such a cool way. And it's
I'm going to science the shit out of this. Yeah. One of the worst lines I've ever heard.
It's cringy, but you see things being done. And it's kind of that thing that men like of like, oh, I see a problem being like accomplished. And it is, it's like ASMR, you know, in a way. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Apparently, the book, Project Hail Mary, is like that as well, where you say, oh, it's a guy who's teaching me science, and it's like therapeutic to me, and I'm along for the ride. The movie apparently just like removes like 60% of that, which is very frustrating. I watched this with my aunt. She took me to it, and she's just like, that was fucking, I can't believe that. But tech-wise, beautiful movie. There's one scene that I saw, and I said, okay, well, the way that they shot this, for reference, he's like in space on a spacewalk and he's looking out at like a bunch of stars and lights in front of a planet. And in my brain, in my filmmaking brain, I said, okay, so this was like obviously like a green screen and maybe like cones or tags for them to like put in stuff in post. Mm-hmm. Not exactly, pretty far from it. I mean, besides going out into real space, there were like hundreds of lights in front of him, like a genuinely expensive setup. And I said, oh, okay. They are interested in doing some stuff.
So they blinded Aryan Jesus?
They super did. They said, hey, look right into, with your corneas, look right into the fucking
with your already
light.
Fucked up eyes.
Exactly. Scream like you did in Nice Guys.
He has a weird lazy eye.
He has like an interesting facial structure that's like asymmetrical, but well, he's gotten kind of like a weird Botox face recently.
That is true, but even before that, it's like one of the eye and the eyebrow, just everything between the eye and the eyebrow. It's like structurally one of them is just like up and over slightly.
He's asymmetrical, yeah, for sure.
But it's only that. Like everything else, the rest of his face is all congruent, and then just this eye and kind of the bone above it is just like, eh.
Yeah, there was a post like a decade ago or something, which I think was very mean, where it's just like, you know, men think like Ryan Gosling is so handsome, but if you actually look at it like through scientific lens, it's like he's actually asymmetrical and his eyes are the wrong shape and his lips are thin and he's very ugly if you look about it. And it's like, that's very mean
very
to say.
Ugly?
Well, like in the sense of like a looks maxing sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they're being very mean to him, but I always thought that was very funny because I mean, he's normal.
It's funny to take someone that like just people consider beautiful and go, you're actually wrong. It's like, well, if it's in the eye of the beholder, and literally all women want to fuck him and all men want to be him, then like what's
I don't get it. But Project Hail Mary is pretty good. Like I said, they do some technical stuff that I think is very impressive that should deserve an award. Instead of just like, yeah, give it to them, I think, yeah, what you did is actually fairly impressive. Mm-hmm. You should get it, not just give it to them, which is kind of rare in some technical aspects. I mean, like Avatar is like, sure, you fucking rendered it. I mean, it takes time to make them blue and also have a frame rate above 24 frames a second. Yeah. My brother saw the new Avatar in theaters, and he's like, they were fucking lagging in the movie.
There's some rendering issues.
Which is kind of crazy that you're putting something out like that with the huge render farms we have now. But anyway, Project Hail Mary is... I wish I loved it. I think it lacks an identity in terms of sci-fi movies. Because, like, for example, Interstellar has an identity that will last beyond the film year that it came out. Like, people still talk about Interstellar now.
They like it more now. I remember when it came out, it was like, it didn't have a positive reaction. It had kind of a mixed response. And now it's everyone's favorite movie for some fucking reason.
It's everybody's top 4 in Letterboxd, which is like, okay, you're
insane.
You're gay. Something like 2001 also has a specific identity where you say there aren't movies like 2001 or like Interstellar that are as successful. Other space movies that you could think about that really go beyond, but those are the two big examples. Project Hail Mary lifts a lot from even The Martian. The Martian has its own identity, I would say. But I feel like Project Hail Mary is just such a conglomeration of everything that came before it that it doesn't stand out on its own. And that was the big problem I had where I'm like, yeah, this scene is technically impressive. Ryan Gosling is charming in this. I do like Rocky, and I'll keep that vague because a lot of people talk about Rocky, but I want to not go super far into what that is.
Does the Desert Storm thing like lend originality?
The Desert Storm?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard that he goes to Iraq.
Fuck you. That took me too long to notice. Oh, you need to yourself now. That was pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, no, I think that the characters are
interesting.
I need to drink more alcohol. Give me 1 second. I'm driving home with my eyes closed tonight. Yeah, my main problem is that I feel like stuff has come before this that is just does everything that it does better.
Yeah.
But it is at least a like 7 out of 10 on all parts, you know, around the board of just like, yeah, I get why this made a lot of money. It looks expensive, which I always love. Because like this cost at least like I think $150 million, and it's made by the people that made the Lego movie.
What?
So I look at that and I say, yeah, it looks like $150 million. Sandra Hüller is in it. Anatomy of a Fall bitch.
What?
And she is playing a character that is layered and I liked seeing on screen. She has kind of she has a moment. I'll say this real quick. She has a moment that a lot of people love that I think is just like kind of cringy and out of character.
Okay.
That people, I think I'm like, you need to be a lot more critical about the media you consume. But they think it's like hecking wholesome.
Okay. I probably won't see the movie, so I don't know what you're referring to, but I guess you could tell me later.
Sure.
I love Sandra Hüller in the movie, or actually 2 movies I've seen her in. She was like amazing in Anatomy of a Fall. That was like one of the best performances I've seen.
She's a good actress.
Great.
I'm excited to finally watch that.
The only thing I know about Anatomy of a Project is that when the trailer came out, long before, you know, this obviously blew up and everyone loved it, I saw the trailer like the day it came out, and I was like, that's going to be a big bomb. Ryan, your career, whoa, what is this? Only God Forgives 2?
Oh,
the movie that made him retire for like 3 years.
Dog shit movie.
Because it's just like him. It's like Arrival where it's like, I am like Lee hecking awesome scientist, adjusting my glasses, and they're like, we need you to do an interstellar mission. He's like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then it's just like shots of space and stuff, and him being like, me and Rock, we're going to work on it together. And the Rock is like, and then he's like, we're solving equations like heckin' math in space. And I was like, pfft. And then it came out and people were like, okay, this is actually Oppenheimer meets Interstellar meets Inception meets The Dark Knight Rises. And I don't care. I'm not going to watch. I don't care how many good reviews it gets. I don't care about space science math done by the heckin' wholesome charismatic scientist. I love Ryan Gosling in most things, but I'm not going to watch it. Sorry, guys.
It's a very Reddit movie, but it's one of the better Reddit movies. Ooh. So I'll give it that.
I hate Reddit movies. I hated The Martian.
Okay. In terms of The Martian, I mean, it's more technologically impressive than The Martian, but The Martian has better science that it shows you, I guess. That's my comparison to that. It is a good movie. It's one of those things that's just beyond just fine. I'm like, yeah, I can recognize it's a good movie, even though it wasn't like 100% my thing. I do think that this is a top 3 Gosling performance in terms of like acting chops. I mean, you can have like your own things about like, The Nice Guys or like Drive where he's just like autistic, but he actually has range in this, and he knows how to make you feel a certain emotion. He's funny, he's dramatic, solemn, affable. I mean, he does everything. He is really genuinely good in this.
Do you put this above Lars and the Real Girl?
Never saw that, actually.
Oh, okay. Have you seen Half Nelson?
No.
Those are like the top, for me, those are his like peaks of.
Okay. He has the best range I've seen in this, where it all lands.
Yeah. Kind of like La La Land a little. Like he's kind of funny and heckin' serious in that movie.
He is better in terms of like acting.
Yeah.
He's better in this than La La Land.
Okay.
Not that he was like fantastic or terrible in La La Land, but
yeah.
In terms of like, I can see what you can do. It's Project Hail Mary.
La La Land in my mind is like, it's quintessential Gosling in that it's, you're seeing it has his sad boy thing and his charming thing. Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about Project Hail Mary is that in terms of pacing and structure, I assume this happened in the book too, but there's a point where you think the movie is going to end. And then the movie just says, hold on, there's actually a huge hecking problem. And then it continues on for 45 minutes. And you go, the pacing is actually pretty good up until then. And it's not that the final act of the movie is like detrimental to anything, but it does kind of throw you for a loop where your enjoyment of it is a little bit hampered because you thought it was going to end the way that you wanted to. And then you have to just reevaluate it. I didn't really care for the way they structured it. And this might be something from the book, but regardless, I thought that the pacing kind of gets a wrench thrown in it.
Is the twist that he is The Rock? The Rock is future him and he's been rockified?
Spoiler alert. He says, "Don't let me rock, Murph. Don't let me rock." And then he goes and he sees his kid as like an old rock. And then they're on that planet that's a giant rock. Yeah. Fuck. Funny. God, spoiler alert, guys. I'm sorry.
So on Timely Discussion 17, we talked about Nobody and Nobody 2. And we had another guy night, and we watched Expendables. And it's not Expendables 4. The official title of this movie is Expendables.
Like Fant Four Stick.
Like Fant Four Stick.
Holy shit.
I didn't know this existed, but I saw that it got added to Netflix, and I said, they made another one?
I've seen the first 2 at least. They're very forgettable.
They are. The first one is the least forgettable, and it's very forgettable. And the second one is... It's like, what? And
the most.
We watched a recap on YouTube of the first 3. And the first one I was like, oh yeah, I think, okay, the island. The second one I didn't remember literally anything. And the third one I'm like, I know I've seen this, but they changed. This is Berenstein Bear, right? No, I don't know. But we started the 4th one and oh my God. This wins an award. This wins the Caleb Award for the worst action movie of the millennium.
Whoa, that's huge.
It is unbelievable.
Okay,
and think about what that means. Think about what the word unbelievable means. You will guffaw. Listeners, if you watch Expendables, you won't believe your eyes in many scenes. This has like top 5 worst visual effects ever in many scenes. PlayStation 1 blurry video game graphics scene of like stuff that should be, I would imagine, simple to do for animators of like a plane flying or of, blood. Like, not that it ever looks great really most of the time, but like just someone gets shot and blood hits a wall. It just looks unbelievably bad. Unbelievable is the word. If I could put the whole movie in a word. The Expendables aren't even in it. It's the Expendables. There's like 4 of them at this point. It's Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture.
Okay, because they were in a lot of the ones before, if not all of them.
They were in all of them. Yeah, that's the core team that is still there. But
they're the
all
core
the rest of them are gone. Yeah.
Okay.
But they've added, there's a twist because they had 4, now they have 5. 50 Cent is also in it.
Why?
I don't know. He
doesn't need to.
Literally at the beginning when they're like, we gotta do the job, 50 Cent just walks in, he's like, I'm expendable now. And they're like, that's right. You're good. And then they all get in the chopper and go do the heckin' mission. And they added a 6th one. there's a void in the movie.
No.
Megan Fox plays Jason Statham's off-camera girlfriend. I mean, she was off-camera in the previous ones. He's like, my girlfriend doesn't want me doing these risky jobs. Oh, heck, oh my God. In this movie, we finally meet her. Barney, played by Stallone, is like, we get you head. And he opens the door, and Megan Fox, in one of her worst performances, which is,
worse than Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What Project Hail Mary is for Ryan Gosling is what Expendables is for Megan Fox, where you say, whoa, she topped it. She laid the goose egg. She's like, you never cared about me, and you're always doing Expendables missions. And he's like, you could be expendable with us. She's like, okay. So then they're off, and they're expendable. This movie has an indiscernible structure. It has something in common with Fant Four Stick, because Fant Four Stick, 45-minute first act, 10-minute second act, 30-minute third act. This movie's actually exactly like that. The beginning is the team on a mission to, Andy Garcia hires them. He's like, there's this frogman, Filipino. There's this some type of Asian who is stirring up trouble in the South Pacific, or something. And you got to go to this island and get him. So they go to the island and they have this long ass action scene of whatever. And Stallone is flying a cargo ship, or whatever those massive types of planes that can have many vehicles, Humvees in them.
Okay.
And he lands long enough for all these cars to drive out of the back, and then he takes back off. And he's like the eye in the sky. And he's at plane height above all the action, yet he's looking out his window and he's like, nice one, you got him. And it's like, they would be ants.
How can you see that?
How can you see what's going on? Doesn't make any sense. And this scene just goes on forever, them just attacking this compound in these warthogs. And then the frog guy shoots a rocket at Stallone's plane. He's like, oh yeah! And it blows up one of his engines, and then his plane is spinning and crashing. And then it just fucking nosedives into the ground and explodes. And Jason Statham is like, Bonnie! And you're like, oh, he parachuted out, right? He goes over to the cockpit, and we're 35 minutes in. Yeah. And there's just a charred skeleton, Sylvester Stallone, in the cockpit seat, just burnt to shit. Literally just a skeleton.
What?
And they have these expendable rings on their fingers.
So you can tell who they are.
The team. Yeah, and it's his ring is on there. And he's like, God damn it. And then it fades to black and fades back up, and the skeleton hand has been positioned into a middle finger with the ring on it. And they're throwing a party, and they're like, man, Barney, he was a real one. He was expendable. And then Jason Statham fucks Megan Fox. And then he's like, I got this decorative knife. It's just like Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. He's like, I got this knife, and it's got a tracking device in it, right? And if anyone were to take this from me, I'd be able to find it because they can get some tracking. And then he wakes up in the morning and his knife isn't with him because Megan Fox stole it.
He's like,
After telling her about the tracking device. And it's like, well, then obviously she did it on purpose because you just told her. And she goes on the mission. They all leave him behind. They're like, you're not. Andy Garcia's like, you're too close to Bart. And it's like, well, you all knew him. You were all friends forever. And actually, Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren are way closer to Barney's age. They would have known him way longer. You're 30 years younger than the rest of these guys, Jason Statham. And 50 Cent's like, And then they all get on a plane and they go to the mission, which is to catch the bad guy. And now we're in the third act already.
Oh my God.
There's no movie. It's already over.
This seems like the first 10 minutes of anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's inexplicable. And then there's a cargo ship, or no, it's a battleship in the oceans in the South China Sea.
Okay.
And at one point, and then suddenly they're like, if that bomb goes off and then the fucking China's nuked and the whole world will be in it. And it's like, nuke? What do you say? There's a nuclear bomb on this ship, and the frogman is like, they've stolen the bomb. And then Andy Garcia shows up and he's like, I was the bad guy the whole time. And it's like, why'd you hire the Expendables to disable the bomb if you
why not just keep the bomb?
That was your mission. Yeah, it doesn't, so I don't know what's happening there. And they have a shootout on this battleship that's horrifically staged. And the blocking is extremely confusing, where it's you don't have any sense of what part of the ship they're on when they're fighting. It's just when we talked about me, him, her with a sword fight is very confusing. Every time it cuts to a different angle, you're like, wait, he wasn't, that's the other side of the room. They're all shooting and we're like, what's happening? And then you hear a helicopter, and then the helicopter comes into view, and Barney Stallone is flying, and he's like, I wasn't dead. And then it does a Usual Suspects flashback and shows how he just killed someone else on the plane and put them in the cockpit, put a ring on their finger because he knew Andy Garcia was a turncoat. and he wanted them to think he was dead so he could secretly grab a helicopter to go to the third act to save everyone. So he just had like this premonition that all this was going to happen.
The most predictable thing of all time, by the way. I'm just like, Stallone can't be dead.
Yeah. I mean, I was convinced. I was like, like when it happened, I'm like, there's no way. But then the movie just keeps going and you're like, oh, he didn't want to be in this. He's like, and then they all shoot at the guy, and then the nuke just goes off in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
But they're in a helicopter like 2 miles away, so they're fine.
Yeah, 2 miles away from a nuke, notoriously safe.
And then it's over. Like, really, I didn't even skip anything. That's the entire movie.
So, Andy Garcia, evil guy, he says, hey, I wanted the nuke for evil reasons, but you took it.
He already, yeah.
What?
Basically, at the end, he's like, it was me the whole time. And it's like, well, then why'd you hire us to subvert your plan? It looks like you already had the thing.
Yeah, that's a thing of just like, why even involve them?
Yeah.
Like, you can just get away with it.
Yeah. It's not like he had them steal a nuke and then he goes, I actually wanted it. Like, then he already had the nuke.
Or like if one of them organically found like, hey, I got a lead. There's a nuke being put through the Philippines.
A nuke?
They're sending it to Jollibee. That's in every Jollibee in Manila. And he's just like, oh, fuck. And Andy Garcia's like, God damn it, the fucking nuke, they found it.
It's in Jollibee. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Damn. Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, that would have been like way more, because I feel like a lot of people that make movies like this that are just pure action movies, they really are just like, the plot does not matter. It's like, well, actually, if you make something at least somewhat believable, like, for example, when we talked about the David Ayer movie Sabotage with Schwarzenegger in it, the plot was at least something where I'm like, yeah, they're trying to steal money and then somebody betrays them. I'm just like, it's kind of cliche, but it is actually a real plot.
Yeah. That
kind of makes sense. And there's like some subterfuge and everything where I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of interested in what's going on. This is just like, the fucking goddamn it.
It really is. They cheat you out of everything. Because like the action sucks. So it's not like, who cares about the plot? So we can see some cool shootouts.
Yeah.
Because every scene is just old people firing guns that aren't really firing at people who aren't really getting shot. And then the worst one-liners you've ever heard. But there isn't even a plot. I'm not kidding. There's two things that happen. They attack a thing and then they're like, it's your day.
Should I...
And then the nuke goes off.
Should I spoil the audience on Jason Statham real quick?
Spoil him?
So let me explain something to you guys. Jason Statham has something in his contract where he can't lose a fight. This is a real thing, by the way. So he's in Fast and Furious, and I believe this occurred even in Ghost of Mars, which is a crazy movie to bring up. But he's in that, and spoiler for Ghost of Mars, nobody cares. Jason Statham, in his contract, cannot be defeated on screen. That means that if he dies, it has to happen off screen and just be implied. Or, in the case of the Fast and Furious movies, him and, like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson both have these clauses in their contracts where their fight, when they're, like, punching each other or, like, smashing cars into each other or whatever the fuck they do in that movie, the fight gets interrupted by, like, a fucking earthquake, which, like, puts them to their respective corners,
so no one can win.
And then it stops. So, Jason Statham, if you guys ever watch a Statham movie again, notice that he never loses. This has happened since the 2000s. He does not lose ever because he has a huge ego.
A fragile ego.
Fragile fucking ego.
The fact that Dwayne also has that.
And it's also
like
funny that they also...
3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny to have that when you're a wrestler and sometimes you just lose matches, you know? Yeah. Sometimes you have to play like the heel and like fucking do shit. Well, I don't think he played the heel, but it's really funny to just be that vain and be like, I can't lose. Because if we did a movie, I'd be completely fine getting like the shit beaten out of me or like losing, being like the antagonist that fails in the end. It's completely fine. It's a movie. Nobody cares. Nobody is watching it being just like, oh, Jason Statham lost in that movie. That means he's a fucking like gay bastard in real life and he sucks now and I will not respect him. Nobody is thinking that. It's just their ego. I mean, if somebody offered them probably like $100 million to lose a fight, they'd probably be like, all right. Yeah, because of course you would.
Yeah, if anything, it's only a risk if you're not known. Because it's like if you're, I forget his name, but the guy, he played the pedophile in Little Children. And he was also Freddy in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, Robert Englund?
No, in the remake.
Oh, remake, I don't know.
Yeah, I forget. Anyway, he's a character actor. But he's not, at the time that movie was made, Little Children, he wasn't really known. I mean, he had been when he was young, but it's like, that is a risk where it's like, well, if you play this pedophile in this movie and that's kind of all you're known for, then people will just look at you as the pedophile. Like movie fans might be like, oh, that's the pedophile guy.
Yeah.
And they might not. And now it might be hard for you to get a job not being a creep because people who supply money might be like, well, the audience is going to look at you, but it's like, if you're Brad Pitt, you could play a pedophile, you could play a Nazi, you could play any kind of like everyone hates this person type of character. And you could play it really well and believable, and it's not going to matter because we know you're Brad Pitt. And we have all these,
Like, for example, Dylan Baker in Happiness, playing like one of the most egregious pedophiles who like literally in front of the audience is like making these like crazy plans to like rape children in front of you. But you realize it's like, well, no, he's Dr. Connors in Spider-Man, so he's not bad.
Well, actually, and that's an example of him doing just like the guy in Little Children. He's doing a respectable thing because he wasn't big at that is a risk, He took the risk that he might just be seen as but it worked out.
Then he had a career, yeah.
Yeah. So like that's something to respect that actor for, of like, that actually could have fucked him over. But if you're Jason Statham, it's like, you can lose a fight.
I don't care if you get beaten
also,
the shit out of you.
That makes you look like the biggest pussy. Like, that's low IQ behavior.
Yeah.
It's also funny to call him an actor because it's like, has he ever acted?
No, I guess in Crank you have to do something a little bit different than what you're used to, but I mean, not really.
Yes, that's not even acting. That's just like stunts. I mean, he's in Snatch. Like Snatch is a real movie.
Yeah,
but also his acting that is being like, oh, I'm a fucking tough guy. Like it's not. It's still him doing his thing.
He's like, I'm gonna go run around the reroute, and you're just like, okay, thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Dwayne
Johnson at least has the smashing machine.
He loses in that, actually, now that I think about it.
Whoa, they violated his contract?
As Mark Kerr, he loses fights in the Smashing Machine.
So Benny violated Dwayne Johnson.
Benny, the worst of the two Safdies, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not even really, apparently. More like actually.
Just super.
Yeah, actually, super, like, truthfully.
Based on all evidence.
Yeah.
The most untalented fuck.
Yeah, Google, guys. But, damn. Yeah, no, that's interesting now that I think about it. It must be in a thing of just like, well, because Mark Kerr, when he lost fights, that was like a real thing. But Dwayne Johnson can be like, hey, this is about cars smashing into each other. Can I not lose a fight?
Yeah.
That's one thing, I guess.
Yeah. Expendable. Sylvester Stallone is also, it's funny calling him an actor too. It's like he's acted 3 times.
Yeah.
2 of them were in Rocky movies.
It's really funny, yeah, because like, people always talk about like, oh, he can be good in these things. And it's like, well, really, is he though, or is he just fine? Because like, in First Blood, when he has that monologue where he like breaks down crying at the end of it, I'm like, that is genuinely emotional. And I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like stuff in Rocky sporadically. Like Rocky 1, pretty consistently.
I guess
heartfelt.
4, because Copland.
Okay.
Not that it's like amazing, but like, he's acting in it.
Sure.
You can say definitively there's 4 movies where he acted.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, not that I'm hold him in high regard, but he has tried at some point. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Randy Couture over here is wearing his gay ass scarf. Do you know about him and his scarves?
Not the scarves, no.
It's just, if you Google him, you'll never see a picture of him not wearing some fucking scarf.
Oh my God.
I don't know what that's about. Maybe his neck looks fucked up. I don't know. Maybe his cauliflower throat.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Nothing. Also, 50 Cent, fuck you. He has. It's funny. We were watching it, and also again, my brother's over and his wife, and every time 50 Cent said anything, his job is just to be Legolas. So they're like, they pick up like an AA-12, and he's like, "That's AA-12, fire a big bullet." Really? And my sister-in-law's like, thanks, Fitty.
Thanks, Fitty.
He just kept saying.
Did you know he has 2 video games
that he made?
Well, not
or like has his name on.
Well, there's 2. Okay, yeah. So he has 2 games in the same series. He has 50 Cent Bulletproof and 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
Never heard.
And they're
of
both like 360 era fucking like third-person shooters that are. One of them I think was like decently received, and the other one is just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did not know about that at all. I know he's the guy who invented vitamin water.
Oh, yeah. Isn't he like a holder in that?
He was an early investor, yeah. So he got who knows how much payout on that.
Damn.
And it's like, I don't have to make bad music anymore. Oh my God.
50 Cent is actually like fairly funny, though. Like, in terms of interviews and shit, he does seem like a guy who does have like some business acumen, and he understands how the world works. I'll give him that.
I can't even speak to that. I don't know. I have seen one funny, when there's a picture of Sean Combs, Diddy, riding a bike, and I saw that 50 replied to the tweet, and he wrote, there ain't no seat on that bike.
he's pretty funny.
So I was like,
I forget who it is, but he's just like, what the fuck you say fuck me for?
I don't know.
Some guy like called him out, and he's like, he said fuck 50. What the fuck? He's okay. He seems like a decent guy that you could hang out with. Genuinely.
I care about dollars. What the fuck is 50 Cent? You know what that's from?
No. Because I'm white. Thank God Almighty, Sam Raimi is back making movies. I was trying to do Pacino and fucking Carlito's Way for some reason. But Sam Raimi decided to make good movies again, and he made Send Help with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Thank God. This is one of those movies that's kind of mid-budget, and it's not really a horror movie, it's not really an action movie, it's not really a drama. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Basically, Rachel McAdams is this homebody, kind of nerdy girl that works for a company, and Dylan O'Brien is kind of like a misogynistic frat boy, nepo baby who is becoming CEO of his father's company. And Rachel McAdams was sort of promised this role from the previous owner of the company, and then Dylan O'Brien was like, yeah, it's going to one of my bros. Basically, woman scorned.
Horrible Bosses premise.
Something like that, basically. Woman scorned. Rachel McAdams is she loves like the TV show Survivor. She's very into that type of thing. They end up finding a YouTube video she made that was definitely edited in like Windows Movie Maker. Like it has the transitions and it's actually very charming. Of her being like, yeah, I can survive in the woods. And it's just like so cringy. And they're like laughing. They're like, look at this fucking bitch and everything. This is basically a survival horror comedy drama movie that I recommend people should see. It has blood, but not too much to turn you off. It's not like a revenge, like John Wick type thing by any means. It is a very funny movie that I think you would like.
Why would anyone be thinking it's a revenge John Wick type movie?
Well, from what I just described of her being a woman scorned I wouldn't say John Wick, but I guess a more revenge movie of just like, I need to torture people like this. Okay. It's not inherently that. The beginning of it, and I'm not going to get too much into spoilers, is that Dylan O'Brien is like, I guess I have to take this nerdy girl who's eating like tuna salad sandwiches at her desk and just being like kind of frumpy and disgusting.
Damn!
Fucking bitch.
Fucking mercury poisoning ass.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, she's doing all that, and they're just like, hey, we have like a fucking meeting in like Thailand or Indonesia, and he's like, do I have to take this stupid bitch? And they're like, yeah, she's actually good at what she does. And they're like, okay. They're on a private jet, and he's with his like American Psycho type buddies, and they're like, yeah, you want to fuck puss? And they're like, yeah, okay. Lightning strikes a plane, exit door smashes open somehow. It's like a real bad crash. All the guys get sucked out, like fucking fly into the engine and explode. It's pretty cool, genuinely. And they land on this deserted island, and now Rachel McAdams is the fish out of water, but this is her element, and Dylan O'Brien is injured, and he's, not submissive, but
he's a beta.
He's a beta cuck, and he is reliant on her to survive on this.
He's a simp.
Island. He kind of has to simp a little bit.
He's simp maxing.
He's simp maxing, and she's actually
Greta maxing.
She's a Stacey Chad in this whatever the fuck. Anyway, it's a good movie. It has really good action. It's funny. I liked Rachel McAdams as a character. She's acting the shit out of this movie, by the way. She has great range in this. Dylan O'Brien is good. It's basically kind of like a two-hander movie. It's mainly them for the course of the movie. The Allstate guy's in it at the beginning, and he's just like, that chick is fucked up. And you're like, okay, cool. Beyond that, it's classic Sam Raimi, as you know and love. It's not going to be Evil Dead, because of course it's not zombies.
And it's not going to be Spider-Man.
It's not going to be Spider-Man. I would say...
Or Doctor Strange.
It's not that. It's kind of... It's not even his more... like based in reality stuff, like A Simple Plan. It is.
It's him like you know him doing something he's never done. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. How do I describe this then?
Drag Me to an Island.
It's. I guess if anything, it's closest to Drag Me to Hell in the sense of shit that happens. I mean, it's not like you scorned a gypsy and you're on the island like how Drag Me to Hell is. Like, oh yeah, well you have no collateral. I can't give you a bank loan.
So like it's new territory, but identifiably the weirdness of this Midwest.
Yeah, it's like a desert island survival movie, but even if I didn't tell you, you'd be like, is this a Sam Raimi movie?
Okay.
Which is what you want.
Because Ted Raimi's in it?
He's not actually in it.
No!
He is not.
Because he died?
Neither... Did he die?
I don't know.
I don't know, actually. Fuck.
I thought he had cameos in like all of his movies.
The car does.
The car?
Yeah, so Sam Raimi's car, it's the one that like Ash and people are driving.
I do know about this.
It's in like everything.
I think you told me about this.
Oh yeah. It's in everything he's done, even in Doctor Strange. It's like in the background when they animate the cars and it looks like shit.
Is it his first car or something?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he still has it. So
nice.
It's not even a thing of just like, which is pretty cool, you know? So, the first car that he's had since Evil Dead 1, he's had, I believe in every movie he's had full creative control of since, besides maybe that like the Oz the Great and Powerful, which looks like shit.
Yeah, maybe they like painted it and put it, and it's in the middle of a forest, and it just looks like a tree, and it's like it's in the movie.
It's burnt down on the yellow brick road or something, or whatever the fuck.
Made that movie.
That is kind of like a weird thing because there was that child movie with like Fairuza Balk from The Craft where it was like 92 and it was like Return to Oz or something like that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sam Raimi.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying in terms of like Oz movies. That one. Anyway,
weird oddity.
So Send Help is kind of hard to describe without going into too much spoilers, but Rachel McAdams gives a genuinely great performance in this. I always thought she was like pretty okay. I mean, Mean Girls is like different. This is way different than anything she's ever done. But I think regardless of who you are, unless like you're a huge like fucking like Jehovah's Witness or something, you'll definitely look at this and be like, oh, this is cool. This whips ass. The only things that kind of suck because there are some horror elements in this. There's like a fucking jump scare, which is kind of crazy and out of place, but I kind of loved it because this is just it's super Sam Raimi. There is a boar like fight scene on this island that looks terrible. It's like a PS3 boar and it just doesn't, it seems extremely like, I don't want to say blocked, but they just, the CGI is like so terrible that it takes you out of it.
You're saying the animal known as a boar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying it was like a boar. Like there's a fight scene. It's such a boar. I don't know. I'm fucked up.
Yeah. But no, the action, the drama, the comedy it hits really consistently. There was never a moment where I groaned and said, "Oh, this is so fucking like cliche," or "That's not funny."
I had one of those moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have exactly one where I'm like, okay, fuck you. This is gay.
With what? The trailer?
It is of Rachel McAdams walking back to, I guess, their camp or something. And Dylan Baker has made, what's his name?
Dylan O'Brien.
Okay, it is a Dylan. Okay,
yeah.
I'm not crazy. Dylan Baker has written out on the sand with rocks, "Send help," but he wrote "Send Heppel."
Mm-hmm.
And that would never happen because you'd have to arrange, like he would have noticed it within the first second of arranging the rocks because it takes a while to write out in big letters, "Send help." So there wouldn't be that kind of like T9 texting typo. So Sam Raimi, fuck you.
Actually, not fuck you. In the context of that moment, he has survived a plane crash and he just like unbecame an invalid. Like he was bedridden.
So then why can he spell the rest of the word?
He has Dane Bramage.
Yeah. And so does Sam Raimi.
He might actually. I've seen how he looks. He has something. He definitely has something.
You think they really shot him on Miller's Crossing?
After Crime Wave, he definitely has had some bullshit.
I need to find out what this is. This sounds so intriguing.
We'll watch it. We'll watch it tonight. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
It's regarded as like dog shit, but
yeah, I'm just curious. I like dog shit sometimes.
It's lovable dog shit, actually.
Yeah. How could it not be if it's made by him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But Send Help, I would recommend to everybody. It's if you like blood and comedy, like not even a horror comedy, but if you like an action comedy, you will like Send Help.
Okay. Not gonna see it either.
Fair.
It's not my type. I don't watch those types of movies, so you know.
It's a fun time. Not as much as I hate for people to be like the movie's fun, it has a good heart. It is a well-crafted movie that makes you go, fun with a drink.
Does it have a boar heart? Does she cut the boar's heart out?
She cuts a lot of the boar out.
See, I didn't even know that.
It means food.
I'm just making smart. No, you know, some people would make a movie with a boar where they don't even cut the heart out. You know?
She skins Dylan O'Brien and wears him as a suit.
She kills him immediately, cannibalizes him.
It'd be really funny if that was all a thing of like they just shot that for the trailer, but she immediately eats him.
Speaking of violent, detestable nonsense and eating people and cutting out hearts and Heppel and all of it, I saw The Northman.
I've wanted to watch this for a while.
You have not seen it?
Of Dylan Eggman, yeah. Or not Dylan Eggman, Robert Eggman.
Robert Eggman made it. The Eggman from Lighthouse. Oh, I want to mention The Martian, by the way. Okay. Did you know that was William Monahan's favorite film of 2015?
He needs to. That's insane.
He wrote a blog post where when Ridley Scott didn't get nominated for Best Director, he was like, how did that happen? If it's the best movie of the year, how did it not have the best directing of the year? And it's like, who said this was the best?
This is like Michael Mann and everybody else saying Emilia Perez was their like top 3.
Did he really fucking say that?
Super said that.
Michael!
Michael.
To the principal's office, please. I watched The Northman. Vikings.
Yes, let's go. Pillaging and the other thing.
Yeah. Implied, never shown.
Fuck! I really wanted to see Anya Taylor-Joy in some regard of that.
Oh, you see some good Anya Taylor-Joy blocking of like a post-coital like romantic discussion in the woods. Ooh. It's lit very well. Ooh. And she has some beautiful curves. Ooh. You see a little bit of her butt cheek and you see the side of a breast. And she has long, beautiful blonde hair. And she looks gorgeous in this scene.
I want to say this, and then you can say everything else about the movie. Anya Taylor-Joy, my beautiful Aryan princess. It is insane that you got buccal fat removal. I hate that women are getting this done, and you look like a skeleton. She is so fucking hot, though.
She looks way better than Jenna Ortega now.
Yes.
She looks like Skeletor. Yeah. But Anya's in it. And this is pre-buccal, I think. I mean, she looks normal.
I think you're right, yeah.
So she looked gorgeous.
She's so hot.
And she's in it. And Adam of Adam and Eve fame is the Northman.
Wait, hold on. That took me a second. Adam of Adam and Eve fame?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Who?
He played Zoolander Gas Explosion.
Oh, Alexander Skarsgård. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. He played Generation Man. Yeah. He played Pillion in Pillion, which we talked about last time.
Is that the gay one?
The one where he has a Prince Albert. No, yeah. Actually, hold on. Yeah, he does have a Prince Albert in his dick. Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe to the Patreon feed and listen to Timely Discussion like fucking 13 or 14 or whatever that was, where that happened. 13, right? Yeah. Right. Timely Discussion 13 on the premium feed. You can hear Nick talk about this gay movie and how it wasn't gay enough in his opinion. The guy wasn't hot enough.
They censored it in the release. They cut things out. The one I saw was the most gay and they made it less gay.
They cut out the penis mutilation jewelry?
Yes,
That's
actually.
Crazy.
Yes, actually. For the fucking physical release. By the way, okay. Tangent. That's crazy they cut that out for the physical release.
Why is that?
Because if you released it in theaters and it had dick on it, who's going to fucking care that you released the fucking dick on 4K Ultra HD?
I mean, they might have cut it because they got complaints from people saying, I took my son to see Pillion.
to this gay BDSM movie. Yeah. And there was too much dick in it.
Yeah.
Fucking Brits complained about that. There should be more dick in that movie, actually.
They complained about Shame. And that movie has a penis that's completely flaccid, and that movie was rated NC-17. Yeah, people were like, kill Steve McQueen for me, so it's like if you have Prince Humbert, what is it called?
Prince Albert dick piercing.
If you have a Prince Humbert dick piercing, I don't want to see that shit.
I want to see more of it.
You ever seen the Norm bit where he's like, I went to see Brokeback Mountain, I thought it was a Western. And I go to see a Western, I want to see a guy with a black hat and a guy with a white hat, and they draw their pistols. Last thing I want to see is a beautiful hot cock slipping into an asshole. Now, they didn't show that in the movie, but why not? If you're going to make the movie, make it right. I love that, like, going back and forth, like, what is his take? That's my favorite.
Yeah, a dude's beautiful hot cock. I want to see. He's so good, yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. And rest in peace, Northman. Because, obviously, they're not still around, any of them. The Northmans.
The Vikings, no.
The Vikings are no more. This is a Robert Eggers film. I loved The Witch.
I did too.
Which also had Anna Lover in it. What's her name?
Anal Lover?
Anal Lover Joy. And I liked Lighthouse, which had Defoe. And this has both of those things, but not enough. Willem Dafoe is in like 2 scenes and he barely does anything. So false marketing. And the bitch from the Lars von Trier movie that he claims he sexually assaulted her, who never acted again, Bjorn, musician.
Bjork,
that's right.
She's in this?
Bjorn is a different. Yeah, she's in it. This is her second film. It's funny. She once wrote a treatise about how she worked with a director one time who was inappropriate and assaulted her. And it's like, you have one credit.
You have one movie ever.
So we kind of know. I think obviously she has to know that was going to happen. But anyway, she's also in it. Barely at all. False marketing. Literally nobody's in it except the Northman, basically. Ethan Hawke. Not in it. He's in it at the beginning, and then he dies, and he's never in it again.
Okay, I want to say something just real quick. I did not know the last two people you mentioned were in this film.
Yeah, and at the time, this might not even matter because people are like, well, I didn't know,
like
who
3 years
cares,
ago,
or whatever. Yeah. But it's like when the trailer came out, it's like just showing all these faces. All of them have less than a few minutes of screen time.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy has more, but she's not I don't know. I could have done with more of her character and more stuff happening with the two of their characters because their dynamic, the Northman and her, was good, and everything else I was like, I'm not really feeling it. This suffers from the same problem I have with Ari Aster's second and third movies, wrong race. Midsummer and Beau is Afraid. I have problems with those that I also have with Northman, which is like, yeah, you have the budget and you're making the movie and it's A24 and it's a big scope and all that shit, but you're not talented enough to film everything in a master shot. Your camera choreography is not perfect. You have an imperfect eye, and you can just stop doing your fucking Kubrick wannabe super symmetrical pan moves, and it's just it's like it's sloppy, and it's like you're not good enough. There's a lot of stuff in Beau is Afraid, and especially Midsummer, and several in The Northman, where it's like action that's all filmed in one take to be impressive, so that people will clip it on YouTube and talk about what a great director I am. Is not done very well. It's like I'm watching an action scene where I can see everybody holding back from attacking yet. I can see the choreography.
I hate that.
There's so much of that. There's a scene where they're playing like the original version of lacrosse or whatever, Viking lacrosse, and there's this big like ogre oaf who shoves a kid down so much that it like almost kills the kid. Like he basically like clobbers the kid in the head, but he's just trying to, push him. The way that if I tried to like kick a hamster, I might kick very light, but to a hamster's body, it's,
Sure.
But it just looks fake as hell. And took me right out of it. And I was like, Robert, fuck you. Shoot coverage. Do what you did on The Witch. Shoot coverage. Because you can hide a lot of stuff in an edit and it'll look normal. And you're not good enough to do this stuff. And it gets pretentious. And the movie's a big snooze fest, honestly. It's really straight line plot. You know exactly what's going to happen the whole time. And every character is like just a blank archetype of what that type of character is. So if you're remembering this, if you knew what this was and you're going, oh yeah, that kind of came and went, there's a reason. It's just nothing exciting about it. The Witch had all of the great filmmaking and The Lighthouse had so much great dialogue and those characters are just like fantastic. And The Northman is missing everything that you might have liked about either of Robert Eggman's previous movies, in my opinion. Outside of the weird language, he does the thing he does with all of his movies where, things are spelled wrong, Vavitch.
The Vavitch.
And in Northman, it's all like fucking Scandinavian, Nova Scotian writing all over the screen. But Anya Taylor-Joy has a great scene where you see all of her curves and it's beautiful.
Where you see her fucking all her holes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, I might need to watch that for that. Is it better than Nosferatu? Because I never saw that one either.
I don't like either of them. They have different problems. Nosferatu's better, but they both suffer from just having nothing like worth getting invested in. Yeah. Both movies, the characters are not interesting and it goes places you super expect. So
that sucks. That goes against the Stuckman code. That's fucked up. Yeah. Because I had seen stuff before, like hype about like The Witch and The Lighthouse, like specific things like, oh, you have to see this and this. And then when The Northman came out, same with like Nosferatu, it was just like, yeah, he's back. And I'm like, well, okay, so hold on. So like, what is there like a really cool scene? What is the selling point of these two films? And everyone's like, Robert Eggers is back. And I'm like, well, I need a little more than that.
Yeah.
Because if somebody told me right now, like Martin Scorsese's back, it's like, well, I kind of need a little more. He's like a go, but it's like I'm kind of nervous now because, like I said, I love his first two films, and then he's doing Werewolf right now.
Which is also spelled wrong, Werwulf.
Yes, it's very Aryan.
He got Eggmanized.
Get Eggmanized, dude. He's gonna make. Oh, what is he gonna make after this? He's gonna make fucking like He's gonna make like Banshee, but also spelled in the weird like Irish way.
Yeah.
Like BEANSHE or whatever the fuck in that stupid potato language. Okay, by the way, I tried to learn Irish at one point because I'm like partly
Gaelic?
it. Yeah, but I tried to learn Irish and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna look at it, and then there's like their verb tense was like, well, there's different counting for numbers with people and without it. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And I just dropped it immediately because I cannot stand this bullshit. Even like Irish in Ireland are just like, I don't fucking give a shit.
He said, I'm not an Irishman, I'm a Northman.
I'm Northman. I'm north of this bullshit. It's below me. Suck my dick, bitch. Yeah, that's what I say to you.
You might enjoy Nosferatu more than I did, but I can't see you liking it. And Northman is pretty dull.
Okay. So I've seen the 2 good ones.
Yeah.
All right, it's fine.
I wouldn't even recommend trying either of these. Because if the odds are that you will go, my time was wasted.
So you're telling me look up the nude scenes of Anya Taylor-Joy on Reddit, and then jerk penis.
And they're not even explicit. Like, you don't even see anything. But
damn it! Okay, sorry.
Yet they're more sexy than all of the grotesque nudity of Johnny Depp's infant daughter in Nosferatu.
Okay, don't say infant. But, okay.
She looks like a baby. I'm kidding when I say infant, guys. You don't think she looks, too young to be nude in that movie? She looked like a child to me.
She has a weird haircut that kind of takes you. It gives you a weird vibe. I will admit that. She's also doing like weird like angry child acting, where she's like shaking in a way that like a child when they're like having a tantrum does.
Yeah,
that makes you not have a boner.
And her amateur quality acting also makes her feel young.
She was in that show with The Weeknd, Lily Rose Depp.
And she's also naked as hell in that too. It's just put your clothes back on, you fucking 12-year-old whore.
Okay. One last thing. So The Idol, that show that she was in, there's a scene that I fucking love because The Weeknd is like whatever his stupid fucking like Somali name is. He has a scene where he's supposed to say like carte blanche, like, a blank check is the French term. Yeah. And he goes, "Is carte blanche?" And it's like, what? There was no fucking like script, like nobody at all that said, wait, hold on. Yeah. That's not how you pronounce that. There is nobody ever. This is Hollywood. People, of course, know how to speak. Like, there's pretentious people who know every single, like, French phrase. Mm-hmm. Even I know that, so it's like, what the fuck?
I remember that being memed a lot. There was 2 memes that I saw all the time. One was him saying, like, carte blanche. No, there were 3. Yeah. Carte blanche. There was one where he's trying to be intimidating to some guy, and he's like, don't look at my fucking girl. Look at her. Don't look at her. Look at her. And it's just, people were clowning him. And then I saw another thing where he's talking, and he says, there's so much cum, it's coming out of my penis.
Is that real?
And it's amazing.
Is that real? I didn't know if that was real.
I don't know. I assumed it was real.
If that's
I didn't investigate.
If that's real, The Weeknd or whatever your fucking stupid black name is.
Abel.
Abel, you need to. That is crazy. That is if you literally said that and didn't like fucking punch the director, you need to something needs to happen.
Well, didn't he like write it or whatever? Wasn't it like his idea? Him and Sam Levinson?
Oh, I think so, right. Because did he write Hurry Up Tomorrow by Waves Man?
I don't remember if that was Trey and him or just him. Or
he's like a Charlie XCX level of just like, you should not be an actor.
There's crossover as
they're in conversation with each other.
Would say, yeah. Yeah.
Fucking terrible. Damn. Okay, so Northman, guys, you can see kind of Anya Taylor top penis in it, apparently.
You see more bottom penis than top penis.
Fuck.
But it's all implied. It's very erotic.
Okay. I can handle some eroticism.
And it's Robert Eggers erotic, so it's like moody and chiaroscuro. Yeah.
Okay.
You also see man ass right before. You do see a sex scene, but it's shot from really far away. Mm-hmm. But you see Alexander Skarsgård's man ass spread as he's humping.
Okay. That's for the ladies.
That's for you, because you got turned on by Papillon or whatever the fuck it was called.
I'm impressed you remembered a French word. That's pretty good.
I remember that you got really horny the first time I ever said the title for Incendie because you thought I was going to say Incendies.
You said it the correct way, and that made me very happy.
Yeah, I know things.
Speaking of hot chicks in movies, I just watched Mortal Kombat 2, and the chick playing Katana is fucking hot as shit, and she's been in like 3 things ever.
Okay.
And I jerked my penis a bit.
Do you see Chun-Li's Chun-Li?
She's an Asian woman, and she is pretty hot.
Nice.
I gotta admit. How much do you know about Mortal Kombat, just as a series game?
Not a ton. Okay. I know a couple of characters. One of them is one I just mentioned, and I know more about her spinning kick than anything else, if you know what I mean. I never played the games outside of that one time in your apartment.
Yes. Oh, we all played Mortal Kombat 2, and then Chris lost every fight by like a lot. Oh, really? I think I got like a perfect round on him, which was crazy. Anyway, Mortal Kombat, the most, I believe, profitable game series of fighting game series of all time.
Wow.
Everybody and their parents knows what Mortal Kombat is at this point. If your parents were born in the 60s or after, they have definitely played this in the arcade at some point, unless they were like crazy Mormon. You know?
I thought you were going to say crazy Catholic, and I was like, okay.
No. I won't go that far.
Okay.
I know that they like it too. Mortal Kombat is, I think, my favorite fighting game series. I like the lore. I like the characters. I'm not really like super big into I don't play it too much to be like, I know like, you know, the forward 2 and all that shit. Whatever. Fuck.
Yeah.
I like the lore and the look of it and how it plays the best of the shit as a casual that I've played. There was a Mortal Kombat movie a couple years ago by the same director. I think it's like Simon McQuaid, who's a literal who just did this and the second movie, and then some like other shit in Hollywood that was just nothing. This movie is for the fans, really only. It's a fighting movie, like action, you know, with gore in it. It made money. They're going to make a third one, definitely. I think that this is harder to get into than the first movie they did. It's really just for the fans. There's a lot of callbacks where they say like, remember this thing, but not in a way that's member berries, more just like, hey, did you see the first one? And most people are probably going to be like, well, I'm a black teenager sneaking into this, so obviously I didn't. I love the Mortal Kombat lore. I think it's very interesting. Basically, there are several realms in the lore of Mortal Kombat. You have Earth Realm, which is us. You have Nether Realm, which is like evil individuals. And then you have Out Realm, which has Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is the big bad guy that you face in Mortal Kombat at the end of like each character's storyline or like the towers. He's the guy that has the horned mask with the hammer. If you know who that is. Okay. I could talk about this literally for an hour. So I need to kind of not be a nerd right now, but Shao Kahn is basically the big bad guy. He's like Darth Vader in a sense of just like, I'm evil, you gotta defeat me, whatever. So Shao Kahn has conquered all these realms. He's the best fighter ever. And there's a rule in Mortal Kombat where if you beat a realm 10 times in Mortal Kombat, you get to conquer them according to the Elder Gods. Now, this is just video game bullshit of like, hey, gods exist in the Earth Realm and other shit where you abide by the rules and magic is real. So, Earth Realm has the defenders. You have Johnny Cage, who, funny enough, the original Mortal Kombat was going to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme Bloodsport video game, but they lost the rights to it. And they said, I don't know if I want to make the game still, but then they ended up doing it and it became a huge thing and created the ESRB. Mortal Kombat is the reason why games are rated at all, because parents would buy their kids the games or the kids would buy them and then the guy's spine would get ripped out and the parents would be like, oh my God, they can't believe it. And then they complain to like Tipper Gore and all these waspy who are fucking gay.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have cool people like Johnny Cage, who's Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's very cheeky. Sonya Blade, who's, funny enough, you know, a strong female character back in the early days of gaming where there weren't really a lot. This was before Lara Croft and all that.
There was Chun-Li.
This was before Chun-Li.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Jax, who's a black dude who has robot arms, who rules. And then later on you get Scorpion, who's like the yellow ninja who says, get over here, and he puts flames on you. And then Sub-Zero's the ice ninja, who's also cool. Okay, I need to calm down because I love Mortal Kombat. But basically the first movie brought back all the Earthrealm characters who are just humans who want to defeat the big bad guy, Shao Kahn. And they created this guy named Cole Young for the movies who fucking sucks dick. And he has like powers that make him like invincible. And he's like a total like Mary Sue. And then the second one, they're just like, fuck off. And they don't really have him at all. The movies are fine. It's one of those things where it's like, if you like watching people do kind of like Chinese fights where they like, you know, kill somebody at the end, there is gore in this. The one thing I like about these movies is there is stakes. Because like I said, there's like the core Earthrealm characters who are just humans that you want to root for. In both of these movies, they die in horrendous ways, which I love. I hate when movies remember Sonya Blade? She's hecking wholesome. No, these movies will be like, hey, remember this guy from the first game? He got fucking his head smashed by Shao Kahn's mallet, and he's dead for the rest of the movie and does not come back.
Is that Andrew Schultz's character?
No, you're thinking
Damn it.
You're thinking of Street Fighter. This is a different thing entirely.
Oh, he's not in Mortal Kombat?
I thought you were doing a bit about Chun-Li being in Mortal Kombat. Just a different Asian.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Chun-Li not in Mortal Kombat?
she's Street Fighter.
Why didn't you tell me that?
I thought you were doing a bit.
I thought you thought I was doing a bit about Andrew Schultz.
I thought you were doing a bit about fighting games are all the same. Okay.
No, I just genuinely thought that those were the same thing.
So this is not the Andrew Schultz movie.
Yeah.
This is completely different.
Fuck.
The thing than you know. So there are different realms that are cool. So like I said, Earth Realm is just what we are. There's Adenia that is just all Asians for some reason. You have Katana, who's hot as shit, and then you have Jade, who's bald in this one. And then you have Melina, who is a clone of Katana, but she has part Tarkatan DNA, so she has like spiky teeth.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, of course, you know. No, anyway. And then basically Mortal Kombat has a lot of cool races. There's a guy named Reptile who's invisible, and he rules.
Okay.
The movie is for the fans only. This is there are a lot of cool kills in this. There's a guy named Kung Lao who has like a hat that's like one of those Shaolin monk hats. It's like round on top but like a brim, but it has spikes on it. And somebody dies in the movie where he's spinning it on the ground and you drag him across like a table saw and you see a lot of gore. And I went, that's interesting about that.
Okay.
That is what I want to see.
Yeah.
If you like Mortal Kombat fatalities and you played the games, you'll be like, that's Mortal Kombat. You'll be pointing like
Terrifier level.
Yes. Yes. It's just like, Terrifier is like worse because it's like meant to be extremely gross.
Oh, okay.
Mortal Kombat has kills where it's like, Katana will take her. It's very sensitive in terms of like Asian portrayals, but she has like these fans, like a Queen of Saigon, and she'll spin them and then like drag somebody's head into it, and it will just like cut his head off very cleanly. But that's how it happens in the games. If I had to, put my Mortal Kombat fan hat on for a second, not that I have already, but I would like to see more characters from the old roster. They're really only doing the Earthrealm and Adenia characters that people know. And it's kind of lame. I would really like to see like a really deep pull because you're not going to understand anything I'm about to say for the next 5 minutes. But in the first movie, they had a character named Natara who was like a bat lady, and then she just like randomly dies within like 2 seconds, which is kind of gay. But that's cool. They need to have more than ninjas. They need to have like maybe Smoke or Rain, or they need to have I don't know, like Scarlet, like one of the female ninjas. The games are pretty diverse, funny enough, very ahead of its time in terms of like DEI shit. People call it DEI now, but back in the literally game one, they had like everybody, which is very funny. They have Nightwolf. He's a Native American that has like a spirit wolf that like attacks people. Stryker is like a fucking like Derek Chauvin cop who like loves committing crimes. And I'm not kidding. Oh, who else would be cool? Fucking... Oh, Goro, he's the guy with 4 arms, and he would jump up off the screen and fucking land on you and fucking suck dick.
Off the screen?
Yes. He would literally jump up the screen and land on you, and it was so fucking hard to counter if you didn't know what to do. But they need to have like more like non-humanoid characters in Mortal Kombat 3 because the end basically is like an Avengers moment of just like, yeah, we're about to fucking defeat the big bad. And it's definitely meant to be a trilogy. I need more fan service. I need more people from the roster in like old games just like fucking getting their heads ripped off. Okay, last thing. Okay, I'm done being a nerd. I don't know how much of that got cut out. Carl Urban plays Johnny Cage in this. And for example, like I said earlier, Johnny Cage is meant to be Jean-Claude Van Damme, like literally, like a parody of that genre.
Yeah.
Carl Urban, who just like Hugh Jackman in The Sun, is an Australian, is giving a terrible accent performance and acts nothing like Johnny Cage. Because Johnny Cage is meant to be this very haughty thing of like, yeah, baby, take a picture. These are $600 sunglasses, asshole. In this movie, he's like, there's a fucking scary lady. He's nothing like him. And there's one time where somebody says something and he goes, oh, all right. What are you doing here? And it's like, your accent came out. Did they not do another take? He is fucking terrible in this movie and he almost ruins it. Everybody else, except for, funny enough, there's an Australian criminal named Kano who has a laser eye who rules. He is the best part of this movie and the first one.
An Australian criminal. What is this, science fiction?
I know it's redundant, but it's very funny that Carl Urban is not playing him because he was just already cast in the first movie. But he's really funny because there's a guy named Quan Chi who's like, he has like white makeup on and then like black eyeshadow. This is so nerdy. But Kano will be like, look at you, Voldemort's ballsack. And he says stuff like this in the game and in the lore. So it makes sense for him to be like this. Not that he's meant to be comic relief, but he's acting like his character. And he's cool, and he's like, look at you, fucking cunt, and all this stuff. And I love him. He's genuinely great in this movie, and it's funny that he needs to be in it more. And I don't know why they don't realize that. Because they put the fucking main characters as Johnny Cage in this one, and then Katana's okay, and she's hot as shit. So
sorry, go ahead.
Actually, I think I'm done talking. I think you can say something for once on Mortal Kombat.
I was just going to ask, do you think that the reason why they make the Johnny Cage character so prominent is that they think they're going to bring in a wider audience of like the Midwestern folks saying, I know Keith Urban's music, now I'll watch him act.
Keith Urban. It's Carl Urban. This is really a Nick movie. I'm realizing now as I'm speaking out loud because nobody besides my brother is going to get this.
Nick, our listenership went to 1 a month. That's crazy.
It's actually -5 listeners right now. Okay, let me wrap this nerd shit up. If you're not a fan of Mortal Kombat, you're not going to like this movie. If you like gore and fighting, you'll be like, it's fine. But the plot actually fucking sucks dick. Katana is hot as hell. The chick who plays her, it's like... I forget what her name is, but it's like Adeline something. She needs to be in more movies because she gives me a fucking boner. And she was good in this, genuinely. She was great casting as Katana. It's really funny that Mortal Kombat just has like an Asian world. I don't know why that is, because Earth Realm is just us, and they're like, here's Asians.
Well, didn't you say the middle one was individuals?
Oh yeah, Nether Realm is just like evil fuckers, and then there's Outrealm. And there's some other realms that nobody cares about.
So humans, Asians, and individuals.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
What do they mean by that?
Mm-hmm. Damn. Mortal Kombat is cool. It actually has a very like deep lore. I hated the reboot fucking Chronica bullshit in Mortal Kombat 11. That shit was gay, and I didn't like that. Liu Kang is basically Bruce Lee. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Sonya Blade is like Cynthia Rothrock, if you know who that is.
I know that name, but I don't know why.
She is a genuinely great female stunt performer. She was in a movie with Michelle Yeoh called Yes, Madam, where they're both Hong Kong cops.
I don't know what that is, but I feel like I've heard Cynthia Rothrock.
It's cool. If anybody's like a really big stunt fan, and especially like female stunts, Cynthia Rothrock is like the GOAT.
Was she in Death Proof? Maybe that's where I would have known.
Maybe
that's a stunt thing.
I don't know, but she's one of those people who genuinely like kicks and gets kicked. She's not like a Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, like you know how Michelle Rodriguez is like a stunt performer, and I did that in air quotes just now for the audience, but. I mean, she's more just like I shoot guns and I like explode. Cynthia Rothrock is like doing fucking drop kicks off like 2 stories. She's a real tough dame. Okay. She deserves the respect.
That's why she's called Rothrock.
Yeah.
'Cause she's hard.
She's got a hard
like a Roth.
Cynthia hard cock more like.
Yeah.
No, she's genuinely great, and I think Sonya Blade is meant to be her, but I might be wrong. But no, I need more fan service in Mortal Kombat 3. I need it to basically like alienate everybody because otherwise it's just lame, and I need the plot to basically be like, I don't know, all the evil people from the roster are fighting all the good people from the roster, and I will pay to see that in IMAX and see a guy's like spine get ripped out of his asshole. That's what I want.
Well, you know who's missing from the roster? You mentioned they already have Derek Chauvin. Mm-hmm. If you're missing one character.
Okay, hold on. I need to nerd out just a little bit. So in Mortal Kombat 11, they did this dumb thing that they do in every fighting game now where it's like, I control time and I have different timelines. This lady named Chronica who's bald and stupid and bullshit. So when you fight every character's like tower, like their storyline, Jax, who's like a kind of like, you know, like black soldier, like invaded Iraq type guy, you know, someone like that, like real Desert Storm guy, but he has robot arms. When he gets the ability to reverse time, he literally stops slavery.
Oh, okay.
Which is really funny because he's just like, yeah, so my people are finally free to do what they please. And he lives in like fucking Wakanda. And it's really funny because all the other ones are just like, I, you know, got to see my mother one last time and I like ended world hunger. And he's like, yeah, slavery.
Yeah, he really created a bright future for his people by doing that. Yeah. Like keeping them in their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jax is
great.
Jax is actually cool though. He's basically Carl Weathers in Predator, but with robot arms. He actually is hype. Genuinely, Mortal Kombat has like cool lore for before they get into bullshit. But
yeah, but let's be racist. Let's say if George Floyd was in the game, what would be his powers? So he would shake uncontrollably because he's. Have you ever seen that footage of him bouncing?
Yeah. Yes. Where he's in the shop and he's like, he's doing like a gallop. Yeah, that's weird.
He's doing a drugged up like massive energy spike. Which is usually what happens before people have what's called respiratory depression, where when you take a drug that's too strong, your body says, I need to put myself to sleep, but it goes too much to sleep. This is what happened to other people, not him. Anyway, so he'd be moving around a lot, and then like when you hit the controls, it doesn't quite do what you want. But every like 30 seconds, you have 5 seconds of like meth strength. You know? Yeah.
Actually, you are kind of true in something you can do in the Mortal Kombat, because there's something called like delay wake up, where basically like you get you get punched in the air and you can stay down longer than usual. So yeah, you actually kind of predicted the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say about
George Floyd was mortal.
Floydal Combat.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say too, if some guy is a producer on Mortal Kombat 3 listening, because this is public, which is crazy. We said that. Do not bring in the combat kids. Real quick, Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage have a kid, which is named Cassie Cage, and then Jax has a daughter named Jackie Briggs, and then you also have. Is his name fucking Kenshi? I fucking forget right now. But basically, it's like the younger generation where it's, all that shit with the kids. They're okay, but I don't want to see that in the fucking movie because they're kind of lame. If you got Elle Fanning to play Cassie Cage, though, with your huge ass, I would actually be okay with that.
Elle Fanning's busted. She never had it. And she never will.
She does have a huge ass, though, you gotta admit.
I don't even know what her ass looks like, but her face is not interesting. Next.
She's nude in this TV show called The Great, and you should look that up after I leave.
Is that the Nicholas Holt? Yeah, I've seen trailers for that. She's nude.
She's fully nude in it.
Is it worth seeing?
I don't know. I've just seen the nudes.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they are. I think so.
Can I block out her face when I look at
it? Yeah. There's one where she's turned away from the camera, so you just
thank God.
Yeah. So you can actually get hard, yeah. No, Elle Fanning, you're hot as shit, I think, in my opinion. You should be Cassie Cage if they cast you, but there's no reason for you to do this movie. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, not great. First one, not really super great either, but you get to see people get destroyed in really funny ways. Hiroyuki Sanada plays Scorpion, and then Tadanobu Asano plays Raiden, and that's a fucking Shogun reunion, and they both won fucking Emmys for that show, which is cool, and they actually are well cast. Johnny Cage fucking sucks. But besides that, nobody needs to see Mortal Kombat, and that's all I have to say about that, actually.
2 Floyds down.
2 Floyds straight down, but my boner's straight up for Katana.
This is my final award to give out for this series of timely discussions. I finally got around to finishing. I mean, I restarted it and then finished it, but I never finished it originally. Babylon. Damien Chazelle's Babylon. This wins the Oppenheimer Award for making the bomb of the century, or the bomb of humanity.
No kidding.
I mean, in kind of every sense of the word, for my opinion, this movie is a miss. Now, it lost the studio that bankrolled it a lot of money. Some cokehead was like, all right, Damien Chazelle, you're making a period piece that is going to be extremely vulgar and cost way too much, and no one will see it in theaters. Here's $2 billion. Go, like, sink the studio. Like, it's the most obvious bomb.
Yeah.
Even if the quality's good, it's gonna, But it also just sucks, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people talking about how it's so underrated and so overhated, and I thought, because there are movies I've seen where I had the same opinion. People said this. I went back and went, oh yeah, I don't love it, but I like it more. And I went back and I felt kind of the same, where it's so shallow. This is like a Michael Bay version of an art film for me, where it's like, oh my God, Hollywood is so crazy and wild, but like they actually make good art at the end of the day. And it's like, thank you. That is a 12-year-old's like level of thought about making heckin' epic Hollywood debauchery Wolf of Wall Street movie. But that's kind of all it is. And outside of Brad Pitt being charismatic just generally and trying and being, I wouldn't say like it's better, but being, let me put it this way. It's more fun to watch him in this role than other things I can think of him. It's not peak Brad Pitt, but it's pretty fun. But if he wasn't in the movie, I would really just be like shooting the TV. Yeah. I hate the main character, and I really despise Margot Robbie's character too. I think they're both just, I don't care. Get off the screen. You're obnoxious. She's obnoxious. He's boring. Next.
I would agree. I think Brad Pitt has the best arc. I mean, that's almost unobjectionable.
Yes.
He's the only one that really has anything like interesting going on, and, you know, it's tragic, and he does a good job. Yeah, you're right. Main character. I just looked up his name and I kind of forgot it. I think it's Diego Calva.
Maybe.
Could be anything because this guy is a blank slate. I don't know why he's the main character, and I'm putting that in air quotes because I guess he is, because it follows his story intertwined with Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt the most. I mean, it's 3 different stories, but he is the lens that you're seeing most of it through. But what a terrible decision. He is so boring, uncharismatic.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, if this was through the lens of like Brad Pitt, that would have been way more captivating. Or even Margot Robbie, or if it was like them two bouncing back and forth.
That's what everybody wanted.
Yes. I don't know why they put this literal nobody.
I know why.
Why?
And we will discuss it next week on the premium feed.
Oh.
So that's a teaser. Sign up, $5 a month, patreon.com/YourOlderBrothers to hear what comes out next week. Episode premium 50, blank, 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 blank.
Definitely blank.
And if you're not listening that week or any time after that, you're like, I know what it was. If you're cool and you're paid for the show. But I know why, and it's going to sound cynical and obvious, but then when you think about it for like 10 seconds, you go, oh, that actually makes perfect sense. This movie seems to have an audience, basically. And I'm not it. And it's not the same exact thing, but it's kind of similar as the Interstellar love, where you're like, well, it's quality levels here. You know, it's at a certain point. Everybody seems to agree with that when it comes out, or at least most people. And then over time, people go, actually, it was overhated. And it's really like, you can like it, but no, it's not a masterpiece.
No.
There's a lot of things to appreciate about the craft of it. I feel really bad for the like thousands of women who, you know, have gone nude and destroyed their, like, I don't know what you call it, like degraded themselves doing like horrible things on camera for this movie for it to then be like the dumbest thing ever. It's like Showgirls. It's like Showgirls too. Where like, I feel very bad for you, you know?
Showgirls is better than Babylon, having seen both of them.
Okay.
I think you would like Showgirls more.
I know the main girl was like, I regret that you can see my entire piece.
Oh, yeah. Paul Verhoeven, he knows to show you the goods.
Yeah.
Damien withholds the goods sometimes.
Yeah.
I will kind of disagree. I don't think this movie is bad. I think it's a really mixed bag for my taste. There are moments that I really enjoy. I do like the beginning, like 20, 30 minutes where they're racing around early Hollywood trying to get all the cameras and shoot a scene. It's like everybody, you don't really see a lot of people shooting these movies side by side out in the open. Like, it was a very unique scenario.
Yeah.
And I thought it was captivating, and it was, you know, fast paced. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I've never seen this. I really like when they switch from silent films to talkies, and Margot Robbie is trying to record, like, they're recording sound for the first time. The guy in the sound booth is like, it's so hot because I can't have the fan on. He's like, where is that ticking coming from? And they're just like fucking cursing and all this stuff. That was funny to me, just the comedic timing of that. I still think about that scene probably the most because that tickles me. It's really funny. But beyond that, a lot of the scenes don't really... I don't really like how the characters interact with each other. I mean, there's a scene where a Mexican main character, who I don't even remember his name anymore, is just like kind of infatuated with Margot Robbie. Like, she just comes to his house and it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense. And then by the end of the movie, you're just like, I really don't give a shit about what happened to any of these people besides Brad Pitt. He was like the most actual storyline, and the rest, it's like,
And he's in it the least of the three of them.
Yeah, that does suck. There's some good camera work. I mean, Damien Chazelle is a good director, but
kind of. He's kind of a good director, I think.
Okay, I mean, he's better than most.
No, I mean, he's great. I mean, 3 of his movies, he's made 4, and 3 of them are like A+.
Yeah.
Or close to it, in most people's opinions, at least in mine. But this... You know, we talked about this with I talked about this with the Phil Collins video thing, where it's like, you can shoot footage that looks good, but also what's it in service of? And for the most part, the content of the movie is just so spare that I don't really, when I was younger, I would have had a very positive reaction to this because of the fact that it has wacky stuff. It's shot really well. The score, like, that stuff is more appealing to me when I'm new to watching like this type of thing where it's a massive spectacle movie, but it's a modern movie, so they're going to say fuck. You're going to see nudity. I don't know. Like, that would be really exciting to me if I was the age I was when I discovered, like, There Will Be Blood, watching this movie for the first time.
Sure.
But I'm just past it. Like, it's the things you're mentioning, like, yeah, those are funny moments, but the movie's, it's like 3 hours and some change. And all of the moments that I appreciate combined is like 15 minutes. And there's a lot of shit in between. The trumpet player character, the Chinese or Japanese wannabe actress and like sexy singer lady, all of them, I don't care at all. And they have way too much of the screen time. And the main character, or the second main character, Margot Robbie, I'm like, not only am I bored by her, like the Mexican guy, I am actively like, get off the screen.
You're screaming at
You
your
are
TV.
so shrill. You are so... Just this character is nothing, just because it's in the movie doesn't mean I'm gonna connect. It seems like there's an assumption that, well, I mean, I can kind of just breathe on a piece of paper. I'm Damien Chazelle and people are going to watch it and it's going to be meaningful. And it's not all it takes,
I mean, I don't think, not that any director's intention is to ever do that, but I don't think he had this arrogance of just like, oh, I can make anything work. I think it just really didn't come together because there are parts, like I mentioned, I like and just not really a cohesive thing. The last thing that I'll mention that I really like that I don't see a lot of people talk about is Tobey Maguire's character. He's in it for just a little bit of the movie, but nobody ever mentions him and he made me chuckle. He has a line and I forget the context of it. Oh, I think he's like talking to Mexican about like a movie idea he has because he's like this secretly rich power player in Hollywood, but he looks like a heroin addict, like he has crazy eyeshadow.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in The Bride.
Yes.
And he says something, he's like, hey, I got this movie idea. What about like a waiter, but he's a full-blown and he's like, how about that? And then they're like, cool, dude. And I don't know why, but that line, I'm just like, Damien, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
Why is that included? But that made me smile.
The performance of it and the line is like, okay, this is, how can you not have an immature sense of humor as I do and you do and not appreciate it for that reason?
Yeah.
But I'm also watching it and going, I get it. Dark money personified in Hollywood. Like every single thing is just so on the nose. Like I said, Michael Bay. Have you ever seen Pain and Gain?
That might have been a Blockbuster rental, but I know what that movie is.
It has the guy from Balls Up. I think it was his first film.
The guy who beat up that Vietnamese dude?
Yeah. Pain and Gain is the one Michael Bay film that's not an action movie, and it's an attempt to make it is a true story movie, but it's an attempt to make a true crime story movie that's also funny and whatever, and just clearly aping a Scorsese style. And this movie feels like a not coke addict, because, Michael Bay, look it up, not coke addict, not stupid, experienced, but still naive or having some naive director trying to do a similar type of thing and it not working. I could be wrong about this. I think Chazelle has commented on it when he was interviewed. This was like a year ago before there was any word about the movie he's currently making with Cillian Murphy. When people were like, hey, so when's your next thing coming out? And he's like, probably in a long time because no one's going to trust me with a budget after what I did. And he seemed to accept responsibility, not just that the movie didn't make money, but also that it was bad. Like he seemed to realize that like it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
I'd have to find this quote, but I got the sense that he was not trying to do the thing of like, well, I made something, I did everything I could and the people didn't show up. He was like, well, I actually turned in a bad product and I can't expect people to love it,
Yeah, like I said before, he doesn't seem arrogant or like vain where he's just like, yeah, just didn't connect with the audience like how some directors are. He's just like, Because, sometimes we film stuff, and we're just like, this is shit.
Yeah, I think when I talk about that like mindset, I'm talking about him when he's writing it. I think that clearly when you're making the movie, it's like, okay, now I have to actually make this work. And then when you're editing it, you're like, shit, all directors of masterpieces will tell you that every good movie, while you're still editing it, you're like, I don't know what this is. And then hopefully you pull it off. And it's like, I think that the material that he gave himself to go into production for was not even close. And I think that his ambition blinded him from realizing that like there is no tone. There's no story really. It's just kind of a series of events. And then it's like it has kind of a Boogie Night structure of like, okay, now jump in time. And, there's some people who are still here and some people who aren't, and drugs and wackiness and nudity.
Yeah,
I need more.
He's like, yeah, follow these people along for the ride of the creation of like, new Hollywood, but none of them are interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you need better characters if you're going to have a movie structured like that.
Yeah. Simply put, it didn't make a killing at the box office.
You're right. You know what else didn't make a killing at the box office?
What?
How to Make a Killing, starring Glenn Powell and Margaret Qualley.
You think they'd know?
This is basically No Other Choice but for babbies.
What?
So No Other Choice, great movie that got snubbed totally last year, about a guy who feels that he deserves a job that other people have and he needs to try to take out the competition to get his way. This is basically the same idea except with an inheritance. So Glenn Powell, his mother was part of this real like Bilderberg, like rich old money family. And she had a child out of wedlock with like the busboy, gardener type like that. And the dad was like, who is Ed Harris, I believe, was just like, hey, you got to kill that sucker right now. And she goes, no, I'm 18. I can do what I want. And he's like, okay. And unlike a lot of other movies or stuff that happens in real life, this couple stayed together, but then his dad died of like a medical episode. So he was raised by a single mother. And his mom was like, hey, you're in line for the inheritance money when everybody bumps off, but you have other people in the way because of succession and wills and stuff. So he's like, I'm like working in like in a stupid gay ass job that I hate. Time for me to get that inheritance money. So I need to bump off like 11 people. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this movie compared to No Other Choice, not that just killing people to get something is lifting from that, but in No Other Choice, there was this sense of regret and apprehension from the main character to even do this in the first place. Lee Byung-hun, the main character in No Other Choice, he's like, I need to do this so that my family can survive. We are running out of money. We are going to lose the house. Meanwhile, Glenn Powell is just like, I have a job in an apartment, but I want to get this money. And in No Other Choice, the people that are in front of him for the job are decent people too. They have families, they're in the rat race. South Korea is this crazy capitalist society where everybody is working crazy overtime without overtime pay just to get ahead. There's that culture about it. That speaks on that part of society. Those people are nuanced, and it makes the main character sad to even consider killing them. However, in How to Make a Killing, everybody is like an Elon Musk tech bro, a guy who has like rape allegations. Topher Grace is in it, which is hilarious. I don't know why he keeps getting cast in things. And he's just like I don't want to say Billy Graham, but he's like a televangelist type.
Okay.
Who's like obviously has one of those mega churches, like, and God gave me this jet.
So Rian Johnson wrote this movie.
It's not nuanced at all. And it's very unfortunate because the first one you see him kill, spoilers, I mean, this is in the trailer, so whatever. But the first one is like this dude who's out on a yacht and he's just like, yeah, babe, you want to have non-consensual sex? And she's like, oh, no. And he's like, oh, whatever, I'm going to go do cocaine and get crypto. And then he just like makes his drowning look like an accidental death. And then that was the first moment where I said, okay, well, this isn't going to be intelligent whatsoever. And this feels like it was just made for people that don't want to engage with anything that challenging. Because like I said, No Other Choice is like, oh, is he actually a good character for killing these people? It's just a commentary on like staying alive. It's like, do you deserve this more than other people if you were given like dealt an unfair hand?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this one is just like, I kill the evil guy and I get my money. And it was extremely frustrating. Margaret Qualley early on kind of realizes what's going on. And she's just like, hey, can you fuck my pussy? And he's like, fucking no. And throughout the movie, for like the first like 2 acts of the movie, she's like, hey, first of all, you can fuck my pussy. Second, can you kill my husband? And Glenn Powell's like, no. And then at the end of the movie, she actually gets like stuff written for her character to do.
Yeah.
And that was really frustrating. I don't know really how much more I can say about this. I don't even care about spoiling it. Ed Harris is cool in it. Glenn Powell, I don't really care for him as an actor.
So it should have been Austin Butler.
Austin Butler would have been better in this. I mean, obviously. Glenn Powell, he was okay in was it Top Gun?
Spy Kids 3?
He was in Spy Kids 3, yeah.
He was in Top Gun. He was the like the Iceman equivalent character.
Yeah, because Whiplash was Iceman's son, or The one who exploded in the original time. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, Glenn Powell is on kind of like, a cold streak. He did The Running Man, the Edgar Wright remake that apparently was dog shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't even bother seeing because why?
I saw that was on Netflix recently, and I was like, I could watch that in prep but I was like, well, I would just be watching something I know I hate just so that I could bring it up, and I'd rather just watch what I organically want to see. So I said, nope.
Yeah. Nope. Another awful movie, by the way.
Yeah.
What else can I really say about How to Make a Killing? It's a very lame take on this type of story of you're below your station and need to be cunning and fight, like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and this type of thing. I would recommend people just watch No Other Choice. It's going to look better than this. It's going to have interesting characters and the plot is way better written.
What if I want to say ha ha he at the dumb Christian guy? What if I was a big fan of Honey Don't and I want to see that personified again, but this time by Spider-Man 3?
Then by all means watch How to Make a Killing by... Oh, I didn't write
Glenn Powell.
It might as fucking well be Glenn Powell because this guy's never going to work in Hollywood again because this super bombed, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not super bombed, but it did bomb. It's a real movie in terms of how it looks. It doesn't look dog shit, but there's no reason to watch this when No Other Choice and plenty of other movies exist.
I will not be watching it. I saw the trailer in theaters and I said, that looks like shit.
Yeah.
Did you go in even hope, or like, I mean, I assume you hoped it would be good, but did you go in with any hope realistically that it was going to be like your thing?
No, not really, but I did expect it to be better than what it was. I expected there to be a little more nuance. I expected him to like really struggle with doing this, but he is A-okay with killing people. And this isn't a thing of just like in the Hitman games where it's like unplug the wall, something from the wall socket and there's like a puddle of water and they step in it and catch on fire or something like that. No, he actually goes through greater lengths for stuff to happen.
Yeah.
That is like, while you're doing it, it would be easy for him to have a moment of like, what am I doing? But that doesn't really happen.
Well, I don't want to have to like consider the ethics. I want to say he killed Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So it's actually exactly what I need in a movie. And you're a Grinch.
I'm a Grinch for wanting to have good, nuanced movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to Korea. Speaking of Korea, I watched COVID Outbreak, worldwide pandemic.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what this is. I looked at it and I didn't know.
You haven't heard of this?
Yeah, what's COVID?
So this is basically a YouTube documentary, but not on YouTube. Actually, it is on YouTube because it's been pirated, but I saw this on Tubi.
Okay.
It was 45 minutes long, and it said COVID Outbreak, worldwide pandemic disaster. And I saw that it was released like relatively recently, I think this year or last year or something. And I was like, who needs this movie like now?
Yeah.
What could possibly be in this that it's going to be worth making now? Because if it's that short, it can only be broad strokes or have some kind of really unique like Alex Jones type take. So I watched it and it is a YouTube documentary summarizing COVID. It's like, yeah. And then in Wuhan, there was this flu. And then it came to New York. And then the guy died. And then it just shows Trump like being like, it's Chinese flu. And
what can you say?
And after like 25 minutes, they've already gotten to the point where everything's locked down. And Fauci enters the picture and he's making... So they basically spend about half their runtime on a short time window, and then the second half of their runtime is on a very long time window of like we're all just kind of waiting around till we can go outside, and the government says that you don't have to wear a mask or be vaccinated, or restaurants aren't saying you have to be vaccinated to go in. And I learned nothing. I think this is made for people who are, because it's so short, I think this is intentioned for people who are like 7 years old now to be able to find on YouTube. I really don't know. I also found out this has like one of the lowest ratings in IMDb history.
Oh my God.
It's like a 1.
Because Melania is like 1 or 1.1.
Yeah. Yeah, it has extremely low reviews. Whatever the number was, I didn't write it down, but it was comical, and I was just like, wow. And I tricked myself. This is the thing, is like you go in, I'm a romantic, I guess, because I'm like, there's going to be some angle, and you watch, you're like, this is just product.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to also say, when I say it's a YouTube documentary, specifically what I mean by that is when you watch a YouTube doc that is basically a video essay of someone doing a lot of voiceover and they have clips they want to show, when they're not showing those clips and they're just talking, they will just show B-roll that you can get online for free of just like cars in, traffic in Manhattan or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's most of what it is.
Damn.
With just like audio clips of Fauci being like, it's a virus. Absolute waste of time. 45 minutes wasted and 2 or 3 minutes of your time wasted listening.
It's funny to make a very bare bones COVID documentary like 5 years after it happened. Because, like, for example, if somebody made a documentary on like Pearl Harbor now, you'd be like, well, we weren't there. So, yes, it's cool. Tell me the whole story.
Yeah.
But everybody watching this, like, genuinely, like, I mean, I get the thing you said about like a 7-year-old being like, what did YouTube Spider-Man? It doesn't make sense to just have something so bare bones for people who definitely just all lived through it. And we're just like, well, yeah, that is true.
Which is the video equivalent of a Wikipedia summary.
Yeah.
Like you could just read a Wikipedia summary of COVID-19 and the first few paragraphs are going to learn the same information, but you spent 1 second doing it.
Yeah. So there's nothing in it that's like transgressive of just like, actually, they think it was the guy who came in Seattle was the first case, but it's actually they kissed a pangolin that escaped from the wet lab in Wuhan. And all this stuff. There's nothing like that.
Hershey, Pennsylvania, an outbreak of chocolatey goodness.
Jon Stewart got in trouble for saying that.
He did?
Yeah, well, because, so if people don't know, Jon Stewart went on Colbert, I believe, a little bit after, I forget when this was actually, but definitely after COVID. And he said, if there's an outbreak of chocolatey goodness in Hershey, Pennsylvania, you definitely investigate the chocolate factory. So investigate the wet lab in Wuhan is the thing he was trying to say. And Stephen Colbert is like, very nervous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that video and he's interrupting it constantly and be like, well, you're not saying that you think that's actually a, because maybe he's nervous about losing his own show. He's like, do not fucking, but I did not know that Stewart got in some kind of hot water for that. That's actually nonsense.
In terms of hot water, not that his show was taken away or anything like that, because obviously Comedy Central is not going to fire him because he just brings in all the money. But comments, a lot of people, and there was news articles and people saying like, I've lost all my respect for Jon Stewart.
I'm disappointed in you, John.
Yeah, and it's like, what, the guy who's questioning the government? Aren't you a huge liberal and Trump's in office? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's getting too much into that. But the last thing that I want to mention that's a bit of a tangent. So when I was growing up, like everybody does at some point, you Google your own name. And for as long as I can remember, when you searched Nick Hudson online, there would be like a bagpiper who just had like a website and he's like, yeah, you can book me for like funerals and shit, whatever, that's cool. And I was like, damn, I wish I was named like Barack Obama or something, where I just had somebody like that. And then COVID happened, and there was a doctor who became a vaccine truther named Dr. Nick Hudson. And I was like, god damn it, I'll take the bagpiper any day.
And he's in this room with me right now.
Yes, that's how I make money. I just say, well, there's metal in it. But it's very funny now that of all three like really Googleable Nick Hudsons, because my name does come up. This comes up if you Google my name and you're probably within the geo fence to get me. It's bagpiper, COVID denier, and then internet racist.
That's pretty good. I'm vaccinated. I was one of the first vaccinated. You know that?
Really?
They tested it on me. No, not really. No, we did get it early. The place I worked at a memory care facility, so they were like, the people who live here and the staff, you get early access. And I was like, all right, give me the jab.
I wasn't one of the first, but I got a job at Microsoft very briefly, so I had to get it. They were extremely like, you will not work here unless. Yeah. Yeah. Awful job.
Fascism. And speaking of fatism, you saw Zendaya's newest film?
I believe so.
She has a film every week, so it's not the newest anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like she's in something else. But anyway, the fat bitch Zendaya is in The Drama. I really like this movie. I didn't expect to. And I always joke about Zendaya and all this stuff. And maybe the problem I have is that she isn't really compelling a lot of the time.
Yeah.
She's not really fat. But like in Dune, she has like serious actor face. And I'm just like, I can't really picture you as a real person. You're always shake it up girl to me, which is kind of my problem. But it happens. I can't get over it. So I'm happy to say, though, The Drama is a fantastic film. I think you would like it a lot. Not that they're very similar, but this is two people working through a really big problem that happened, and saying what it is kind of a spoiler, and it caused a lot of controversy, and every single news article just mentions it, and it's like, well, guys, not that it happens at the end of the film. It happens like first 30 minutes.
Okay.
But I feel like people really shouldn't look into what it is. You should kind of watch it blindly. I feel like since you like that kind of Woody Allen, two people having an argument, not that this is a Woody Allen movie, but two people having an argument in New York and how it affects their lives, I feel like you would get a lot out of it. And it's not just rehashing stuff from that genre. This is a very unique problem.
Okay. I don't know the problem. I saw that there was a lot of headlines, but I never clicked on any of it because I was like, I just want to watch the movie.
Okay. And this is going to be kind of hard because I have to talk around it, but the way that the problem was presented and the backstory I felt was very authentic because I know some things about this. For me to go, oh, I was pointing like Julian at the screen. I said, oh, that's yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Cool. You did the right thing. You actually did research into what this could be. Zendaya is giving a great performance, and so is Robert Pattinson. They play off each other very well. Just fantastic, like, two-hander performance. The chick from, what's her name? Alana Haim, I think it is, who gets shot by Lockjaw in one battle. She's in it, and she plays a huge bitch, which is good. It's not.
You mean huge as in, like, huge fat?
Huge fat fucking porker bitch. But no, she plays like your worst. Like if you've ever been like hanging out with like a girlfriend and that one friend who you can tell just like they tolerate, but she's like the bitchy one. That is exactly her.
Okay.
Great film. I wish I could say more about it, but I would implore everybody who is listening to this, like our regular listeners, that they probably will like it. It's not extremely crass, but it's not like, recommend to grandma type of thing.
Okay.
But anybody's parents could probably watch this and be like, oh, that was good. I didn't expect this to be so funny, by the way. There is one scene where I was cackling at like 2 a.m. when I was watching this. I did not expect this. I expect this to be like more serious and maybe have some humor. I was screaming laughing at a certain point. It is extremely well done. Every joke lands. And performances. I loved everybody in this, and I think it's like a 9 out of 10 movie.
Why'd they call it the drama if it's so funny?
They should have called it the funny. No, I'm just kidding.
Why is it called Iceman if it came out in the spring? I don't really know anything. I didn't watch the trailer. I saw the teaser trailer or whatever it was. A24 released some piece of media that was like 30 seconds of Pattinson and Zendaya posing for wedding photos or like engagement photos. And they're smiling and then their smile faded. And then it's like the drama. But I'm into watching anything with Robert Pattinson just for him at this point. I mean, he doesn't really miss after like 2011. Was that? Yeah, that was the year that I think, or maybe 2012 when Cosmopolis came out. That was the first time where I was like, oh, he's an actor. And pretty much anything he's accepted, even if the movie wasn't good, he is always good.
He tries.
Unbelievably talented for what you'd think based on seeing the Twilight movies, which I've seen. Whoa.
Yeah.
No one makes it out of those things unscathed, except apparently him. I mean, Kristen Stewart has also like done good things, but they're not, I mean,
he's better than her.
She went from a 1 to a 3 and he's like absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited. The only like actor casting that I'm excited to see in the Odyssey, like specifically, I'm like, I really want to know is him. I mean, I'm sure that there's other actors in the movie that I will be fine with, but I know that whatever he's doing in that movie, it will be the best part. And I want to mention something about that, by the way. I saw another headline that I didn't want to read because I didn't want to be spoiled on it or be thinking about it, conscious of it when I watched the Odyssey. I'll just ask you, do you know what he said about what he is modeling his performance after in the Odyssey?
No.
Okay, then I won't tell you so it won't be in your mind. Okay. He made some headlines about where he's like, oh yeah, I watched this actor in this movie and that's I'm trying to sort of get that vibe. And it is a very inspired choice. Knowing the character he plays in the Odyssey and what he did, it's actually based. It's like Lockjaw level based acting decision. So Pattinson, you're the GOAT. I will watch the drama. I think it's available to rent now.
I believe so. If I can give you a personal recommendation for you to enjoy this to the max, I think if you watched it with your brother and his wife, I think you guys would all like it. If you watched it as one group.
We might watch it in this room then.
Baller.
Along with that thing that I was telling you about that I found online. Listeners, I discovered a piece of lost media that I don't think anyone knows how to watch.
Wow.
And we might talk about it. We will talk about it somehow, some way on this podcast in the future.
After I watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, I said, I can't get over how good Matt Johnson is. I need more of this. And Blackberry had been on my list for, since it hit streaming.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll get around to this, I was a kid when Blackberries were a big thing. I don't know anything about this story. I want to know more. And I kind of put it off. I was like, one day. And then I saw Nirvana, the band, show, the movie, and I said, okay, I need to get to this today.
Same. Yeah. Independent. Like, I thought the same thing, and I watched it, like, the next day.
Yeah. Nirvana, the movie, is better than Blackberry. I think it's hard to find somebody that would disagree with that. But Blackberry is a solid movie. There are some things I was a little disappointed in, but overall, very well-crafted movie. Glenn Howerton is fantastic. For people who don't know that name, that is Dennis from Always Sunny. Mm-hmm. He is giving one of the best, what do you call it, dramedy performances?
Yeah, of the decade.
Of the decade. He is amazing. He is so well cast.
Yes. Yeah, I love Blackberry. I might even prefer it to Nirvana, like, for my taste. I've seen it twice, and I haven't seen Nirvana twice. I mean, I will. But when I saw Blackberry, I loved it. I recommended it to my brother. He watched it. And then a week and a half later, I was telling my parents about Blackberry. I was like, oh, yeah, you guys actually would. I was kind of like selling them on it. And then my dad was like, we could watch it right now. And I'm like, sure. And it was the same thing as Weapons, where I'm like, I'll watch the first scene. And I just stayed for the whole thing. Loved it. Perfect. Who would have known that the guy, who's this guy even? I know I've seen him before, but I can't even think of a credit. The main actor in the movie, Jay Baruchel.
Baruchel or something. Yeah.
I mean, if you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, he's the guy from, he must be in some like Seth Rogen comedy.
He's been in a ton of like 2000s comedies.
Yeah.
And he always plays like kind of a nerdy, well-meaning guy that never gets the girl until the end where she realizes that beauty is on the inside.
Yeah. And who would have known that he was able to be believable in a dramatic role? I mean, this movie it was hard to explain. I was trying to tell my brother, because he had also seen Nirvana the band, the show, not the movie. And I was like, it's very Matt Johnson-y in that you can tell it's him, and it's not quite a comedy, but it's a silly and kind of like what we talked about with the gay filmmakers when we were discussing Dead Man's Wire, where if they do a serious movie, they can't help but make it kind of gay or whatever, or, you know, it's a little bit silly. It's like
a little flavor.
This has some of that flavor. It has some of that zest, if you will, where it's done in a style that is unique to a like meant to be taken seriously biopic, which I think this is. I do have one complaint that I cannot see past, and the second time I watched it, I still felt the exact same way. Matt Johnson's performance in the first scene he's in and a couple of moments in later scenes is not in tune with the rest of it.
Yes.
He does his, okay, so you notice this too. He does his thing where if you watch Nirvana the band, the show, like when he's improvising, if he like were to drop a pen while he's talking that he didn't mean to, he will incorporate that into the performance and go like, oh, fuck, my pen. He does that as this character, but most of the time he's playing him, it's not the kind of guy who would do that. And in their first scene, when he thinks they're about to get interrupted or whatever, he's like, or they're talking and then he drops a pen or something, he goes like, oh, fuck! And it's like, that guy would not do, and it's very disorienting. I thought, oh, that's just because it's Matt Johnson. I hadn't gotten used to it yet. But then when I rewatched it, no, that first scene, he is bizarre. So his performance, not perfectly calibrated, but mostly there for me.
Yeah, this is actually, my critique is a little bit different than that. I do see what you're talking about. And there are some moments where I'm just like, okay, this feels very shoehorned in. And that exactly is my problem of where Matt Johnson is playing a real guy who was involved with the creation of BlackBerry and whatever company they were with before it was renamed or something. But it feels like he is unnecessary in every scene he's in, even though this guy in real life, by the way, does not even have a photo on his Wikipedia page, is like one of the world's like richest men because of like his investments. It feels though, even though he's a founder of this company, he doesn't have a reason to be in any scene because like mostly it's Jay Baruchel or Glenn Howerton talking or somebody else in a meeting. And any time Matt Johnson is in a scene, it feels like he's just there because he's directing the movie. And that's what it felt. Not that he's bad by any means, but I could tell, like, if you removed him from 75% of the stuff that he's in, it wouldn't really change the scene. Because, I mean, there are some parts where he's charming, where they have, like, movie night, and he's just like, I did like this part. He's constantly just, like, quoting movies over the course of that. And he's like, this is exactly like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
And that was okay, but then as it went on, I was realizing more and more that he was writing himself into certain parts of it. That was the one thing that took me out. That's maybe my biggest complaint. But he is funny, but it just felt unnecessary.
I share that sentiment with a small percentage of his scenes. I didn't feel that with close to half of them even. I think that his character, I think it matters. And I did appreciate that it was not a like Social Network arc ripoff, because as portrayed in the Social Network, the way that partnership ended is not at all true to how it really happened, but it's a more compelling story to tell it in that or as if it happened in that order and with those character types. In this movie, I don't know anything about those two guys, but I appreciated that it didn't try to do that thing where it's like one of them is nice and one of them is susceptible to becoming a narcissistic asshole. And as soon as he is successful, he will cut off the nice one. I liked that it was shown very gradual, like they're still friends, but they're just like, you know, Matt Johnson's character is more interested in hanging with all of the bros. And I loved that scene when their friendship kind of officially ends before he's left the company, where he's like, why do you think all these people work 80-hour weeks for no credit on designing what at the time the scene is taking place is like the hottest product in the world 5 years running or whatever, right before the announcement of the iPhone, which I'll get to that in a second. That's another thing I want to praise. So anyway, I liked his character's role in the movie. I think it served an important function, but there's stuff you could cut out. I know that there is a longer version of this that was a mini series for Canadian TV.
That's right.
So there's probably, I think it's something like another 45 minutes total and then cut into 3 acts, which you can tell where those 3 episodes would start and end pretty easily watching it.
So I mentioned this when we talked about the Japanese movie Kokuho in the last timely discussions, where I really dislike in movies where a guy is like climbing the ranks or going from poor to rich or something like that, where halfway through they pull a Barry Lyndon and he's just evil for no reason now. I was really glad that Blackberry didn't do that. Yeah. Because I was thinking, you know, these are real people and it's really easy to show them as like, I have money now, I made Blackberry, I'm a hecking billionaire and I'm going to like, It would have been easy for him to do that, and I don't really know if the real guy was like that. But point is, it would have been easy to do that, but he didn't. There wasn't really like a halfway through mark where he's like, I have just abandoned all my ideals. You know, there is like character change over time of like, oh, is money like, you know, corrupting these people? But I was really happy. I was very satisfied that's not where it went. And I think overall, if I had to say like the best part about this movie or like biopics in general that I like, I feel like I learned something at the end where I'm just like, because I knew about the BlackBerry phone and it would be so easy as well to be like, people made the BlackBerry and then money changed hands and all that stuff. But I felt like I learned about the people, like why BlackBerry became a big thing and the people, the power players behind the scenes. I was really satisfied with what I learned at the end. And I was like, finally.
Do you remember when the phone rings and it goes, you have a collect call from, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it's great.
Moments like that live on in my memory of like, wow, this is so much fun, even though it can get very stressful. Yeah. Like Jim Balsillie, the character that Glenn Howerton plays, is a tightly wound guy who crashes out for completely justified reasons because the nerds are just not running their business like a business, but he also overreacts and acts in ways that they can't, you know, it's such a believable, like we both need each other type thing that, again, you don't really see portrayed with, I don't know, just like a simple humanity, like a very plain, it doesn't really, the movie doesn't do anything to tell you like, well, these are the good ones and this is the bad one or whatever. It's just kind of like, well, you can kind of understand how they both would have problems with each other. And I also love the way that the relationships turned out between Glenn Howerton and Jay Baruchel's character too. And this thing, the first time watching it, there is such a like nostalgia trip for the aughts throughout where it's like, oh yeah. And that little montage, have you ever seen the music video for the Strokes song Someday, which plays in this movie?
I don't think so.
So the music video for that song is footage of the Strokes in a bar hanging out, and it's a very montagey style of them in the bar and then just like out doing new stuff in New York, whatever, and then back in this bar and blah, blah, blah. And the moment at which they like sell the product and the song kicks in and it cuts the montage, I was like, just like with Nirvana, the band, the show, I went, Matt Johnson, yes, you're true. I see exactly what you're doing, the influence. Like I'm completely in line with the wavelength for this movie. It's exactly pitch perfect to my taste and what I want and how I would try to tell that same story that way. And the introduction of the doom of the iPhone is coming is so wonderful.
Yes.
How like the way that you learn about the iPhone from their perspective, it gave me like actual like goosebumps, hair standing up on my neck, where you're so invested in these guys and you kind of forget that the BlackBerry is going to become completely obsolete and everything's going to fall apart. And then the way that you see the announcement stuff, the way that like we all did with that product launch of, we have 3 products, we're launching a new iPod, we're launching an internet or like a computer and a phone. But they're all in one. Like that moment, I was like, yes. I don't know how they cleared that either. Speaking of like legal issues with copyright and stuff.
I mean, I guess if it shows Apple in a positive light, they'd probably be like, sure. I mean,
guess.
it's not like they'd be like, fuck you, Tim Cook.
Well, sure. It's like a blessing. It's because there's so many companies that do just when you read stuff all the time about movies where it's like, this was supposed to happen, but the person who owns the copyright or the person who, you know, the estate of that family said no. A lot of people just will say no, where it's like, well, you're not going to be hurt by this. It costs you nothing to say no, but a lot of companies and people love being like, fuck you, I don't have to, you know.
Oh, as somebody who has tried to message directors of like, hey, nobody can watch your film, can you give it to me? And they leave me on red. Yeah. That has happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Fuck those people, by the way. Pissed me off.
People love saying no, and I'm so happy that they were able to get that footage in, because it would have sucked to just have to have someone walk into a boardroom and be like, guys, there's an iPhone.
Or remake the footage like themselves using like own act, which they probably wouldn't have done, but that would have been another avenue that people have done before and stuff like this.
I also want to compliment one of the more like haunting endings I've ever seen. That final scene and the way it's shot is just so... It's so amazing, and it's an original idea. I've never seen. It's not one of those things where I'm watching and going, "Oh, they're doing a version of that movie's ending." It's like, "Oh, that's brilliant."
Yes,
and that's also probably where the true story stops being interesting. So, perfect way to end your story there, and also have a little echo of the beginning of the movie if you think about what he's doing.
I genuinely like that too. I was just like, oh man, what a perfect crescendo, like, you know, brackets on this movie.
Yeah.
And if there's one performance that I don't even know if you really picked up on this, I love that the dude from Splinter Cell is in this, Michael Ironsides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he plays a really like imposing figure who I believe gets scalped from another tech company. And once the iPhone announcement is in place, I believe that's when he starts to get into the movie. And the movie almost turns into like a prison movie for a little bit, because he acts like the warden watching over all the nerds who just want to watch like fucking Back to the Future and like, you know, play hacky sack and do all this nerd shit. Talk about like, you know, what would be out like Sid Meier's Civilization. And he was like, you losers have to make the phone.
Yeah.
And I love Michael Ironsides. Splinter Cell was my favorite game series growing up, and he's voices the main character.
It's interesting that's how you... I mean, I didn't know that, but it's interesting that that's like what you know, like Michael Ironside of Splinter Cell fame.
Yeah, not Scanners, not Starship Troopers or anything, but he has a great voice. He is a Canadian actor.
Oh,
which is cool, and I want him in more stuff. He was in Barry as like a Chechen like shot caller, which was really funny. He was like on a Zoom call with NoHo Hank.
Yeah.
But I wanted him in more stuff, and that kind of spoke to my heart, where I'm just like, finally, Sam Fisher's in it.
This is not a starter movie, it's a finisher movie.
For a golden god!
Glenn Howerton, the GOAT. Did you know that he got like a ton of awards and nominations for this movie?
I did know that he got a ton of praise, more than just by fans and
it's
people.
Deserved.
He's fantastic.
I was telling my brother when I was pitching it to him, I said, it's kind of like when you watched Jim from The Office in something that wasn't The Office for the first time, where it's just near impossible to separate them. So you just have to tell yourself, like, you cannot hold it against. Because when you hear Glenn Howerton scream, I mean... It's we've heard Dennis scream a million times, but he is genuinely doing like a pretty transformative thing.
Yeah, he's not just Dennis in this. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't go to Jay Baruchel and goes, look at me when you're talking to me, or anything like that. Or,
it's worth it for him alone, honestly.
I would say so too. If you guys don't even really care about phones or BlackBerry, or if you know broadly the story of like how the iPhone eclipsed it, it is worth it just for that.
It also has a big short quality of you actually do them. I didn't understand how this movie does a good job of making you understand in a very general way how they were able to figure out how to make a smartphone without requiring too much data, basically. And it also does a good job of making you understand how unlimited texting works. And I was like, oh, neat.
Like I said, I learned something. I had no idea that's how BlackBerry worked.
Yeah.
they wouldn't have known that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it suffices as an actual like biopic as well, instead of just being like, oh, you go to see it for Glenn Howerton, man. He screams.
Supposedly it's pretty true to the true story, unlike The Social Network.
Okay.
And if you, the viewer, want to learn about our penises, go to the premium feed, sign up at patreon.com/yourolderbrothers for $5 a month to get an extra episode every Monday. You can write into us at yourolderbrothers@gmail.com. And Nicholas, where can they find us?
Your Older Brothers Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. If you would like to get a head start on our next timely discussion, we are on Letterboxd at Yob Podcast, Y-O-B Podcast. Pretty active on there. Send us an email as well, like Caleb said, yourolderbrothers@gmail.com.
You ever been in a storm, Jay Baruchel? You ever been in a storm of phones?